found that interesting, coming from Oklahoma State, last name Holiday. No relation.
Yes.
Well, you had to look, though, didn't you?
Yes, absolutely.
And then we got Pittsburgh last.
I do. I think the dark magic is over. I think it's over. I don't think Mike Tomlin can just continually being that team that wins 9 or 10 games and makes it into the playoffs every year. It's done. It's gone.
He's won 17 years in a row.
Yep, it's not happening. The dark magic's done. This year, though, I got him winning 7 games.
Oh, we struggle in all aspects of school.
Yeah.
We had PE down. That's about it.
And lunch.
PE and
I was really good.
That has stayed true to form, hasn't it?
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine.
Good evening and welcome to a very, very special episode. You're laughing already. Very special episode of Benchwarmer Basement Banter. I have somebody here very special, near and dear to my heart. I would love for you to introduce yourself. He's known as our oracle. Like every fantasy sport, every sport we talk about, we try to keep up with this guy. Not going to lie. So, I'd love for you to get more than 3 words on this. Tell YouTube about yourself.
My name's Brandon Nixon. I don't know why they call me the Oracle. Just play enough fantasy sports, you can get enough knowledge, people.
It happens because you win a lot.
It's
an
not so
honor.
much anymore. Time's passed me by.
I think it's more with the life situation, the having babies. Our priorities kind of shift a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, all kidding aside, this guy's pretty damn smart when it comes to anything with sports, and we are honored to have you on and hope you come back. So I'll try not to wreck this too bad for you tonight. My lovable co-host is out for the evening, so we're gonna try out another guy in the big seat here. I want to give a shout out to YouTube, TikTok. Rogers usually does this, but I'll try it. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Give some love. Got a little special something here too for this video only. If it gets to 1,000, is that a good view number? 1,000, and what do you do for likes? 20, 50, somewhere in there? Somewhere like that. I should have talked about this before the show, but it's what we do here. Okay, there was a episode, if we get to that number, there was an episode early in the year where we had MLB predictions. And I'm not going to lie, I did a pretty piss poor job of it. So, for every division I got wrong, which is looking like more than I got right, going to be a punishment. Okay, we've talked about what to do on that. Well, my wife, she is a big Andrew E. Sean Johnson fan. She watches their podcast, so shout out to those guys, whatever it's called. But they do some really cool stuff, kind of, Sean Johnson, everybody knows who she was. Olympic great, USA all the way, buddy. Respect what she did. They have their own show, and they just go through their life. A lot of cool stuff. They're awesome people. Hey, it'd be pretty cool if he would hear this, see this. So if anyone out there can get me in touch with them. But anyway, they did an episode where he put on a pregnancy simulator just to go kind of, we cannot compare with what our women go through. There's a reason that they do it and we don't. I don't have that kind of pain tolerance. Shout out to our wives. But he wore this and they cranked it up to whatever level it was. Looked pretty painful, didn't look like fun. Well, my wife and I had kicked around doing this to me since I've made some mouthy claims about the pain level of it before. I was wrong. But anyway, we are going to go ahead and try to find one of these, and for every division I got wrong, crank it up. So that's what we need. To see Woody in a lot of pain, we need 1,000 views. Gosh, what did we say, 20 or 50? I forget.
50.
50. Give me a fighting chance. All right. 50 likes. And hey, if you guys hear this, I know that's a small chance, isn't it? It'd be pretty cool. Sean Johnson, Andrew East out there, hi. If you want to send that one on down the road so we don't have to pay for it, that'd be pretty cool. But on YouTube, mention where to buy this at, what to get, and that might be quite a ride. So anyway, enough of that, and we're going to jump into what is our favorite thing this time of year to talk about. What do you want to talk about?
I think it would be football, but I think right now what
That's
we're
fair.
talking about is what's on your head.
That's
what's
fair.
on your shirt.
Well, I'm actually giving another team some love. It's Waka right there. Because right now it's kind of hard. It'd be great if this time of year it was Cardinal baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about playoff time. We're getting there, but we're looking right now and saying playoffs.
A few years ago, that'd
Playoffs.
be hot topics where you talk about the Cardinals all the time, but
So are you saying now we're on to football season?
it's getting there. It's you don't.
Yeah, as the days pass by, I believe those playoff odds are getting slim.
Getting slimmer
Almost
and
to
slimmer.
the non-existent point. But you know what? This is what we talk here. We're in the Midwest. We're true and true Cardinals fans, so we're gonna have some Cardinals talk time. And then, hey, we'll get more positive. We're gonna down the road in this episode. We'll talk actual baseball, like some teams. What do they do? They win? Is that right?
Yeah,
That
just got to win.
Be in the
Win,
playoffs.
baby.
Maybe we need to figure out how to do that. But so we'll jump right in. Fire up the standings there, stat guy. Let's see what we're looking at here. Well, we're not at the top.
The outside
This
looking
is the
in.
wild card race right now. Them D-backs. Look at that. The West. Hey, we came through on that prediction. You got the D-backs leading the way, 75-56. San Diego game behind. They're playing us, so they might be ahead by the end of the series.
4-game series.
Yeah. Kind of need to sweep. Not looking good. Got the Braves in the final spot. You got Rogers' damn Mets somehow still alive. 3 back. Dang, we're down there. San Fran, Chicago.
It's the power
Cubs.
of Grimace.
Dude, yeah, the power of Grimace. Can we get Ronald or the Hamburglar to Bush? Gosh dang.
We have Big Mac land, but
Well, you would think that'd be the open invite, wouldn't you?
I think Hamburglar hangs out in St. Louis. He steals everything.
Maybe Emos ran him out of town. I don't know. Pretty good pizza. But, yeah, we're behind the Cubs, so that's about all you need to know there. 6 games back. The Cubs were sellers at the deadline. So, 6 games back as of August the 27th. A comeback like this has happened before. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
It has, but there's
2011, buddy?
there's a lot of differences between those two teams.
Are you saying like a Hall of Fame first baseman that hit 700 home runs, a Hall of Fame
Yeah.
catcher?
You had some guys that would carry your lineup, and this lineup this year is some days you'll get guys that are really hot, and then the other days you're getting the same, the guys they can't hit.
More often than not, we don't have much production. So that's what I was going to lead into. I was kind of poking fun at it. I believe in 11, we were 11 games back going into September, the Braves. But like we said, we had established Hall of Famers. Also, the man at the helm, TLR and Ollie. That's a good comparison, isn't it? They're about on the same level, aren't they? You think about that one? Not even close?
No.
Ollie
2011 was TLR's swan song.
Yeah, last year.
Like, it was perfect for him to go out on.
Yeah,
I
it
hate
was.
that he came back, but
I wish
it was a master class.
Yeah, it was. The way he shaped that pen, but also you could look at it too. You got the talent on the roster. They had fought injuries that year. You had Berkman getting hot at the end of the year. You had a lot more talent. Chris Carpenter, you had your ace.
You had your
shutdown guy.
ace. You had your closer.
Yeah, I don't think you go down this team. You can
You
check
had
all
your
those
mixed
boxes.
match of bullpen guys, and you had bench guys that could do timely hitting.
You nailed it. The bullpen, and you had a manager who knew how to deploy them. Like, look at what they did with, they got Edwin Jackson in the rotation that year, that Scrabble trade.
Rybczynski.
Yeah, old Scrabble. And he knew how to use them. Like, that playoffs, 5 innings out of the starters, and TLR did it all.
Another thing about that, though, the rules have changed. What had benefited Tony then was you could throw a lefty for one guy. And you had a guy that would, generally get one pitch. He gets
Yeah.
a double play. He's done. He don't have to face any more guys.
You're saying we didn't have the Manfred rules for,
We don't
this
have
batter
that
minimum and
3-batter
pitch
minimum.
clock and all this stuff.
So
Yeah.
you can still kind of deploy that now, but if you got to have 2 outs in the inning to throw a lefty out there, so he wants to see one guy.
See, there's a strategist. We like that from time to time. Well done. But no, I think that is the beginning and ending of the comparison of those teams is kind of where they're at in the standings, which also, this wouldn't be a conversation, I guess, if the wild card standings back then, there's an extra wild card team now. Like that team back then and now, like, you can't really compare. But I was kind of kidding on that. I don't see it going anywhere. I guess you're in the same boat. Like you just,
No.
Are you ready to see the kids play?
I'm just not necessarily the kids play, but that's what you're trending towards is your youth.
Yeah.
You just got to have something change. You can't just keep deploying the same thing out there. It's not worked the last 2 years.
So I believe our, I started to say general manager. I'm sorry, Mo. President of baseball operations has been on the record for saying the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and it not working.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. And it sounds like he's following that blueprint to a T. So that was the other thing I was going to say, though. Given where we're at, we think there's slim to no chance of making the playoffs.
Not when you've got to jump like 4 teams. And
Yeah.
the team that's holding the 3rd spot, the Braves right now, yeah, they're hobbled with injuries, but
Yeah.
they have so much talent on that team.
Yeah. And
That's what's the thing that you can say is like, oh, yeah, they're hobbled, but they're still winning.
yeah.
The Cardinals, they haven't been decimated by injuries per se this year. You had Newbar get hurt. You've had Contreras.
yeah.
That's your biggest piece, yeah. But when he was hurt, that was when they actually somehow
Yeah.
found ways to win.
Yeah. Their best bat was
So,
down and they played their best ball.
You can't say they've been hobbled by injuries this year.
Yes, very good point. Very good point. And that's what I was going to say. If you look at this roster, all right, when we did our season preview, I'm the dunce. I had Milwaukee in last place, just looking off of rosters, and they had a different manager, everything. You look at Milwaukee's roster and what they have gotten out of the talent they have compared to our roster and the talent that going into the season, the names we had. Even irregardless of Goldie Arenado, they're both aging. But you look at our rotation with Sonny Gray, Gibson. I'm not saying this was like a slam dunk World Series team, but if you just compare our roster to Milwaukee's, like going into the year, they had Freddie Peralta and a bunch of question marks, in my mind, in their rotation. What they've got out of that rotation, you know, what they've got, Adames, Hoskins, like the young guys they brought up to play the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they lost freaking Christian Yelich, and they have a 10-game lead. Like, what they've got out of their talent compared to what we've got out of ours, it doesn't compare.
It goes back to your culture. Everybody
That's
thought
what I was going to ask.
everybody thought it was the Craig Counsell thing.
Right.
They're still doing it without Craig Counsell.
Yeah.
Craig Counsell goes to the Cubs, and the Cubbies are
Worse than last year.
they're right where the Cardinals are.
Yeah.
They're in the we don't know where direction we're kind of going right now.
Yeah. I think Pat Murphy was like, hold my beer,
So-
Craig, and watch this.
Craig Counsell got a good, nice payday, but
He
the Brewers
Might be out of a job here in a year or two.
again are showing why they are the class of the division right now
Yes.
because they can anything that they touch right now turns to gold.
Absolutely. I mean, the one that off the top of my head, pitching-wise, Tobias Myers. There's a pop quiz. You know who he was traded for? He was a Ray, and he got traded to Cleveland. You know who Cleveland gave Tampa? You might have checked me on this, but I think I heard this. It's a guy by the name of Junior Caminero. This guy was viewed that highly. He was traded for Caminero. And Tobias Myers, I mean, he was in 2 pitching-rich organizations that, like, know what they're doing in Tampa and Cleveland. Like, those are model organizations for taking little, getting the most out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Milwaukee has turned him around. That says what they're doing.
Milwaukee has kind of molded themselves, kind of like with there you can spend a little bit more money than both Tampa and Cleveland, but they
Still, I mean, they're a smaller budget, and they're getting the most out of their talent. And that is what I think we need to get back to doing.
Mm-hmm.
It was not that long ago. Like, we were looked at, and I am biased, yes, but kind of as the golden organization. I mean, there was that Cardinal way. I think it's bullshit. Don't really buy into that stuff. But the Cardinal way, there were, it was up there with the Patriot way. It was the TLR days to play a hard 9. We were looked at as a model organization. Is that fair to say?
because you had the consistency of winning.
Yes. And you didn't question, like, what they did. Like, it was amazing, the teams, guys Cardinals would bring in, put them with Dave Duncan, like Jeff Suppan, Jeff Weaver. Gosh, a lot of those guys that they brought in got the most out of.
Kyle Loesch.
Kyle Loesch, very good point. Those teams that went deep, it was on names that were castaways, other organizations. You just had guys come up, fill roles. And I think you're right. I think it was the organization was lockstep from managerial with Tony
With Tony
to upper
with
management.
Tony to that, to Tony to management, you had the right amount of pushback, but Tony had the consistency of winning. He'd been in the league for years.
Yeah,
Now the
he knew what he was doing. Honestly, like I could start. I'd say used to. When the Cardinals made a move, if at first you kind of looked at it, you're like, it'll be fine. You knew what they were doing.
You didn't question it also because during Tony's tenure, I can't think of off the top of my head how much negativity was surrounding the team. Since
No.
Tony's been gone, every manager, even when you had back to Matheny right after him, there was negativity even with Matheny.
You make a good point. You know what happened back then? Everything stayed in-house. If you had a problem, you did not talk to the media. This crap, like last year with Tyler O'Neill, we brought it up before. That should have never made it to the media, the him and Ollie deal. Ollie should have shut that down, talked to him. Honestly, O'Neill should have known for dogging it what was going to happen. Like, that's what happened back in the TLR days. They kept it in-house, problems squashed. You did not go telling anybody. If you did, well, guess what? You're finding a new job.
Yeah.
He had that standard, and we do not have that. Like, this guy, Marmol, is a yes man. He's not a leader. That's the one thing we've nailed this year when he signed his contract on our thoughts on him. But honestly, I think the problem is more than him. I think it starts at the very top.
It does. It starts.
What do you think?
It starts at the very top.
Okay.
So I'm gonna bring up something on
All right.
screen.
We got some interjection from the guy in the corner. What are we looking at
Look
here,
at the
buddy?
date that Ballpark Village was opened. 2014.
2014. Okay, that's
so
interesting.
My thought is that Ballpark Village, before that, we were winning a lot of trades. We didn't
Yeah.
question the trades, and this is even with Matheny and stuff
Yeah,
like
it's a few
that.
years of Matheny, you're right, yeah.
Then DeWitt opened Ballpark Village.
Huh.
He got money conscience.
Starting
And
to
since then, it's not been the same.
I had never really looked at that or thought about that correlation there. That's interesting. But yeah, the last 10 years, there has been a significant downturn. And you look at his comments, like that was what I was going to bring up, was the disconnect I think DeWitt has with the fans, with the media, the stuff that they've said about how, yeah, fans don't get it. They don't show up. That's a way to stick to us. We just won't put a good team out there. We won't spend money
We'll
on
just
the
have-
team.
Yeah, it's just money you can't spend on the team. But
I think it's a horrible look. Like for the Midwest, this is hard working people.
like the stat guy just said, Ballpark Village.
Yeah.
They're making money, whether it's from the game or if the game. Well, not recently, but probably a year and a half ago when the ballpark was filled, you still had people partying over at Ballpark Village.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're getting all that revenue from Ballpark Village, and they're not even at the game. They're just there for the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And
So-
also now with Ballpark Village during the winter, there's no baseball, but people are there
People are
watching
there.
Blues
People are
games.
Still there.
Well, I want to say
But-
more than even Ballpark Village, guys. If you just look across the street as a whole with what they put up with townhouses, what they rent those out for, condos, I really think you make a great point that their focus is more from the team. It's from growing their business.
Their first child is getting neglected.
Yeah.
The team.
That's what brought people down there.
Their second, third,
That's what
fourth,
built
all
that.
their smaller projects that they can technically make way more money off of than the team
Yeah.
is what they've put most of their focus in of late.
Yeah. And I just think, though, making those comments kind of, I think disrespecting the fans, honestly. Like, I mean, I think you should be.
1 second. Some fan by the
Okay.
name of Aaron Rodgers
Oh, yeah.
says,
He's
to
here
be
more than his
fair,
spirit.
probably still a lot of people drinking at Ballpark Village. Right now, this team makes me want to drink.
Alcohol sales probably have increased in the St. Louis area. So, yeah, guys, maybe we're looking at this the wrong way. Maybe their bottom line's doing pretty good.
Revenue for the local liquor stores has increased, probably not Ballpark Village. You can stay home and if you get 2 beers at Ballpark Village, you can stay home and probably drink a whole case.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's true. That's a very good point.
So the local liquor store revenue is
Yeah.
going up because of the Cardinals.
I don't know. As fans, I just think it's a bad look. Like, when they go out, they say this stuff. And, the Cardinals fans have been loyal through the years. And I don't mean to sound like a whiny Cardinal fan because, yeah, if you look at our team through the years, like, this is the first downturn big time. Like, I know the Matheny days, there was some rough time. But we've not had it bad like some of these organizations that have, like Pittsburgh, stunk for a long time and stuff. But I guess that goes with the standard they had set.
You could say
You know?
Pittsburgh. You could even say who the Cardinals are playing tonight, San Diego.
Yeah,
They had a rough patch.
they did.
They've done it a couple times where they threw a bunch of money at a team and it flopped on its face.
Yeah.
But they've kept trying it.
Yeah,
They haven't been as the word it gets or the phrase that gets thrown around today for the Cardinals. They're risk averse. They don't take risks.
Yep.
They want to float around, get in, but
Well, when they lose every trade, maybe they're not wanting to take.
When the standings show from a year and a half, almost 2 years now, that what you're trying isn't working.
Yeah. I agree. So that's what I'm saying. We think this starts at the top with DeWitt and then the Mo deal. It's very catchy. We've been saying the Mo must go. We did give him props. We like the Fetty trade, but the general direction as a whole, I think this year seeing more and more that he's kind of lost control of the organization. Like you brought it up to me a few weeks ago when they brought Jordan Walker up. What did you say with Ollie and Mo, the contrasting the interviews you listened to? How'd that go?
That there had been more clarification since then, but the beginning of that is you had Ollie go an hour before saying that they were going to use Jordan Walker a certain way in the platoon role because he fit that criteria. They needed an outfield bat and a right-handed bat. But then you had Mo an hour later with the same guy interviewing saying that bringing up Jordan Walker, he should play.
Yeah. So it's almost like one guy is functioning on the premises of trying to save his job, while the other guy is trying to run the organization and develop as he sees fit.
Just the
Disconnect.
lack of communication. And
Yeah.
Like we're saying from the top down, you have the owners putting constraints on Mo,
Yeah.
and then Mo putting constraints on Ollie.
Yeah.
So you can't say the blame is 100% on one person. I think it probably is like 50% ownership, 30% down to Mo, and then 20% Ollie. It's a trickle-down effect.
It's almost like they all suck.
So
No.
on the Jordan Walker stuff,
Yeah.
for the platoon versus left-handed pitching,
Oh,
his
yeah.
splits
It's reverse, isn't
are
it?
reverse on that.
His splits
So-
are reversed,
Made no
and that is
sense.
what Ollie brought up. But he's like, his justification for it was because his numbers were better against lefties than the lefty hitters they had on the team.
That's really not saying much.
That's not much.
I mean,
It's
they-
not saying much, no. But that
act-
was his reasoning for bringing it up. But then you're trying to get your prize prospect
yeah.
corrected so he can be the face of your franchise. You have another guy who's technically they deemed him as just a minor league hitter in Luke Baker.
Yeah.
Who
That's
every
what I was
time
gonna say.
he hit,
Baker should have been brought up
if
in
you
the
would have
first
brought him
place.
up,
That's
he would have fit the role. Yes, he can't play the outfield, but you had other guys who could do that.
you needed the bat.
You
That's
had
what
you needed the
especially
right-handed
struggling
bat
against lefties.
that could hit lefties.
Yeah.
But
He's
they
had
also
a small-
set him against Hunter Green, and he has like 6 of 8 lifetime against him.
You talking about Baker?
Jordan
Walker.
Or Walker.
Jordan
I'm sorry.
Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sat him against Hunter Green, and he had a 750 batting average against
Yeah.
him, and with 2 homers.
So they're not even looking at numbers.
I was
in
gonna
my
say
opinion.
we're common fans here. We don't have the access to stuff other than look at stat pages, and I'm not saying we're smarter than them. No, don't misunderstand that.
No.
I'm not saying when we're pointing this stuff out, being like this would, and they contradict themselves, like bringing up Baker literally a week after this. They look stupid. Like this is stuff that we're looking at, being like this is a common sense thing. You need a righty bat that isn't gonna play every day. You don't bring up a highly touted face of franchise guy to ride the bench 75% of the time.
not
when he's
not when
developing.
he's just figured it out again as
and see,
well.
Figuring it out.
if there was a book on how to ruin a prospect and screw his career, we have written that with Jordan Walker. This is a guy that I feel like I would bet a ton of money if we do end up the next year or two trading him, doing something with him, being like we can't do anything with him. This is going to be a perennial MVP candidate somewhere else.
It's going to be worse than
I don't
Arizona.
know. I think the Cardinals might have to have a veto of trades for the next year.
I think someone else needs to make the calls, and who's doing it
With
now.
their latest
Rogers
their-
also brings up.
Yeah, you go ahead on this one. This is your baby. What just happened today?
They're-
Da-da-da.
Yeah, it's not really breaking news. It's been out for a while, but if you hadn't watched the game, you wouldn't know. The Cardinals can trade for a guy and give up 3 years
Yeah,
of
Sean
service
Armstrong,
time
so we're
of
talking
Dylan
about.
Carlson, but then only get 11 innings out of Sean Armstrong and then DFA him.
I don't understand this.
I understand Carlson his role had diminished. He was struggling, didn't know what to do with him. But yes, his value bottomed out.
Yeah.
But he still was worth more than 11 innings of a relief pitcher.
Right. Like you said, I understood the original move, trading him. We weren't real big fans of the got back, but we were realistic, as in Dylan Carlson's, like you said, value had tanked. You weren't going to get a stud reliever for him. You were probably getting someone along this caliber. But when you turn around a few weeks later And not only is Carlson looking good in Tampa Bay, we're not real surprised by that. But the guy you got for him, you just let go, and who knows who's going to even sign him? Like it's just shooting yourself in the foot.
The old running joke I say about certain players, or like if it's NFL, MLB, whatever, where I'd trade that guy for a half-eaten bag of Skittles.
Yeah.
The Cardinals technically did that with Dylan Carlson. They traded him for a half-eaten bag of Skittles.
I think they got an empty bag of Skittles. I'm going to be very honest with you. Like, this made no sense. I honestly would have rather they'd have sent the kid to AAA. Like, I think he still had options, and I know it'd be demoralizing, but what are you doing?
It would have been demoralizing, but literally within 3 weeks later, they did that with, or maybe a month, whatever you want to say it, but they had sent Jordan Walker back down.
Yeah.
A week later, they sent Gorman back down. So you can't tell me you can't send your prospects back down because you're scuffling. You're trying to win. You're trying to get your future set. Dylan Carlson, he wasn't in the big picture, but if you somehow corrected him and he looked better down the stretch, you could have probably flipped him in the offseason for something a little bit more valuable. Find a reliever with 2 years of service time to where you got something
next year.
Something.
Well, this Armstrong guy, I was like, okay, I'm trying to be glass half full. I'm like, if he's going to be like your seventh inning guy, because we had some bullpen issues at the time. We were in contention. I'm like, all right, man, if everything goes right, okay, whatever. But to 11 innings and throw them away, no. I don't understand. There's so many things. You can just look event after event over the last couple of years that don't make sense. I'm to the point of we can't keep going down this path. Like, I really think they need an overhaul. You can't, as much as Rip DeWitt, like, he's the owner, he's here to stay. Over the course of since their ownership, it's been a good ownership. But you look past that, I mean, his standards, I think, are lowering and lowering by the year. Past that with Mo, he's got a year left, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it's time. We've seen enough. He got his guy, Ollie. He's got his roster. Yeah, DeWitt did kind of constrict him at the trade deadline, but before that, leading up to this year,
he constricted him, but he still, granted, I give him a little bit of credit. I'm not giving him a ton because it was one of those trades that fell right into his lap. Chicago wanted to unload a couple guys. And
yeah, that's fair.
So the Cardinals, they had to give technically pennies away to get it.
Edmund was a good player, but it was one where it's like he didn't have a fit here.
He didn't have a fit because you're still.
Mo's already said that he's coming back next year.
Mo is coming back. Well, I guess I'll cancel the ticket sales I was thinking about. So you know what I was gonna buy.
There was an interview I seen it pop up on Twitter where he said he's coming back. He'll finish out his
back
contract.
with a vengeance. The bow tie from hell.
That doesn't completely sour me. Mo can kind of shift it to the next thing as long as he does something different. He can't do the same Mo things. But
is he going to change? Do you really think at this point in time?
Mo per se doesn't have to change his philosophy for what he's going to do because he can't build a team. Oh, I'm going to throw everything. The way the constraints are from the ownership, he can't just I'm going to go out and get these tier guys. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So somebody has to fall on a sword, which is going to be the sad thing. I don't want to use that word.
Was it the F word? Because that's what I feel like using right now.
Not hate or whatever, but I don't
We're not on Wabash, so
I don't
say whatever you want.
I don't dislike Ollie to the point where I believe he should be fired. But somebody when your franchises
I'm over here calling for heads
had the model for winning.
Yeah.
And you haven't done much winning the last 2 years. Something has to change. And the sad thing is it's going to have to probably be the freshest face in the organization, which is technically, well, I guess not in the organization, but in leadership capacity, which is Ollie.
Yeah.
Ollie is the guy that has to rally the troops.
Well, I don't think Ollie's gotten the most out of this roster of players. I mean, that's where I'm at. If
it
they're
should
going this
be
route.
Ollie.
And I think, I don't know who to specify in this. My thing is, all right, let's talk turnaround. Mo's here. I think Ollie needs to go player freaking development.
Yep,
that's
what
where
I was
we've fallen
getting
short.
ready to say, Woody, was
player
the head
development.
of player development.
Like, okay, how are we going to win? We're not, like the Yankees had a downturn last year's before. Guess what they have? They have money. They're going to spend it. Mm-hmm. Not only did they, re-sign Aaron Judge, they kept that's the other thing. They have money, they'll spend it, and they have an MVP core guy there who, if you have him, you have a chance. We don't have any of this. We're not going to go out and outspend these teams for free agents. There's the big pond over here. Okay, then there is the little kiddie pool over here, and then there's like that little water park in between, and that's kind of where we fish in. Like, we don't spend no money, but we go out, we get Contreras, we got Sonny Gray. These are like our highest end guys who are good.
That's the guy that needs to go.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Gary Lou Rope.
Thank you for your service. Now go coach Little League. Okay, so that's our director of player development. You stink, sir. With no respect. I think we've got, like, this is where I'm at. Let's have this conversation. As much as what I just said about the no ticket sales for me, I actually think we could turn this around because of the talent we have in the organization.
There's a lot of talent. There is.
Oh.
But the thing when you say turnaround,
Yes.
Elaborate on turnaround for you.
Well, honestly, even my standards, I just want to make the freaking playoffs.
Are you saying turnaround this year, next year, 2 years, 3 years to 5 years? What do you say?
I'm saying next year. I think this year.
I don't think there's a chance of that.
I think there is, and first thing I'm going to say, well, I said the talent. I like the talent we have in the minors, guys getting close up. And I'm talking playoffs. I'm not talking World Series. I'm trying to be realistic. I think the path to win the division's there. I really do.
I don't see it because with the team that you've got right now.
Yeah. I like this.
What are you going to do to try to change you're going to try to throw the same thing out there? We've seen it again. It didn't work. You have so much money tied up in certain players. Like, yes, if you let Goldie walk, you're literally turning around 10 of that million and you're throwing it at Sonny Gray because he went from 10 to $25 million. You have Arenado's contract, who it looks like an albatross now, which at the time looked fantastic because he was putting up good numbers. Mm-hmm. You have Steven Matt's contract still on the books. You have Miles Michaels' contract still on the books.
That's our bullpen guy, man. We got a $10 million
stud
reliever.
You have options on two other older starters.
They better not pick up those options.
They're both
see what
options.
you're saying.
You can let them go, but all that money is still because Arenado's contract's going to go up probably like a $10 million. So like the money you're saving from all this other stuff,
from Goldie gone,
it's still going to
offset.
It's going to be offset. So the only way you're going to be able to get this team to turn around quickly, you have to shed payroll.
Well, is also the
you're
player
gonna have
development.
you're going to have to go, as you've said, youth movement.
Yeah, you do.
But you're going to have to do what the Cardinals don't like to do. You have to eat some salary. They did it one time recently with
Cecil.
Not really him. His wasn't as big. It was Dexter Fowler.
Yeah.
They sent him off to L.A. and they ate about $10 million.
You know what? I think if you look at their biggest free agent signings before Contreras and Gray, you had Mike Leake, who I'm going to say they ate money on that one, a lot of money.
They ate
prospects to get rid of him.
They ate a lot of it on him.
And Fowler.
But
Great point.
There's those two guys. I was like,
you know what really fries me there?
Mike Leake. I did not hate the guy, what he did to the team, because
the money he was making.
Yes, he was making money.
He threw a lot of innings. He led the league in home runs allowed. Way to go.
Okay, he's fit the mold. The Cardinals went out and got Lance Lynn, who gives up a lot of homers. Kyle Gibson this year.
Mike Leake for his money.
Mike Leake, he gave you the innings for a team that was winning. He was your 5.
Yeah, but I don't want to pay $580 million.
He got shelled, but they were winning.
Yeah. I remember that.
You're getting guys now. They're getting shelled and getting paid. The Cardinals have the 3rd or 4th highest payroll for their starting rotation.
Yeah, that's fair.
And their ERA is, I think,
not great.
23rd in baseball.
That sounds about right. Yeah,
they're throwing money. Yes, we always say, spend more money. They're spending money, but they're spending it in the wrong areas.
Horribly. Like, we're talking about the contracts, which I was going to say, the Fowler thing that really pisses me off, he still had a banner up last time I was downtown St. Louis. It's pretty big, too. I'm like, guys, come on. I'll pay to get that taken down. I wasn't a big fan of that signing. I thought it was kind of an FU to the Cubs.
19th in baseball.
19th, yeah, that's not great. So, here's where I'm at. Oh, are you there? Is he there? It's that guy.
That still goes down to them trying to replace Tavares.
Oh, yeah, okay, shifting gears. You mean with the perennial all-star MVP?
That did set the...
It set the Cardinals back offensively.
Yeah,
because they're trying to find offense. So they're like, we have this substance in pitching, so we're going to try to go and get some hitting.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, but it shouldn't have had a snowball effect.
Yeah.
There
No,
should have
but
been
it
a
did.
stop.
That
There should have been a
year-
point in this organization where they could have been like, hey, because as you've said, player development.
Yeah.
Player development. Since then, you've had high-touted prospects. You've had Jordan Walker. Dylan Carlson was a high-touted prospect, but you have nothing to show for Dylan Carlson now because
Oh, yeah,
you
you've had
DFA'd
some
the
top
guy you
10
just
guys.
traded for. Nolan
Gorman set it down the same route.
Dylan Carlson,
Like,
3.5 years ago, was a guy that the only way you're getting him, or you cold dead hands analogy,
yeah,
whatever.
Mo said you've got to pry him out of my cold dead hands to get this guy. Unless you have a middle reliever, then I'll think about it.
Hey, I do want to bring up just something with Carlson.
Yes.
And
Did he
it's
hit another
not-
home run?
No, he was not the holdup in the Soto trade.
You're right.
They wanted Hintz, Win.
Oh, I didn't know Hintz was around.
They
there.
wanted Hintz. Yeah.
They wanted
Hintz,
Tinkins win.
Win, Walker, and Carlson.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. I mean, look at the package they got from San Diego.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a package. And whenever I saw
I just
that
want to
package,
debunk that rumor
Yeah,
or
they
whatever.
did a great
that
job.
it was because of
I know
Carlson.
Carlson wasn't the main hang-up.
But he
That
was a big piece.
But
I
that was
see your point.
the thing. What I'm saying is they used
Yeah.
they cold dead hands. It's like, okay, so you value this guy really high.
yeah,
His value kept sinking. So evidently, your player development, you can't value guys because,
Yeah.
as you
Yeah.
say, what was it the last? You don't trade with the Rays because they pick your pocket every time.
Mm-hmm.
You literally gave away Dylan Carlson.
yeah.
3 years for a guy you're not going to use now, DFA'd. Randy Rosarena, who at the time you didn't give him a fair shake, so that's
I
why
agree. That was
that
a
is the
different
why he gets
circumstance.
just so the Cardinals get so shelled for him. He didn't get ample time. Dylan Carlson did,
Yeah.
but you shouldn't have just gave him away for a bag of peanuts.
Well,
Agree. He ran his course here. But
Arizona definitely got traded because of the Schilt deal.
yeah,
I think that didn't help, but I think the biggest thing was because at that time our foundation was it's Tyler O'Neill and it is Harrison Bader. Those are the two big pieces in our. So then we have this other spot, and you had some other guys that were potentially coming up, and it just.
it hasn't worked out. And you look at the talents went out the door. Like you said, Randy Adolis, Lane
Yeah, but
Thomas.
the
Dolan
Rangers-
one, I defend the Cardinals a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, they let him go.
Texas did too.
Texas got
Yeah.
him, and like 10 other teams looked at him, but
Yeah.
and then Texas cut him and then brought him back.
Still, it
so
would've
that one
been-
they get a little pass, and he is.
It would have been nice if we'd have seen something there, and
Randy
Figured
at
it out.
least was a decently highly touted prospect.
yeah, he was top 100.
Yeah.
If I remember,
Those
right,
other
like 60,
those
something
other
like that.
players that got away. That's not what has set the Cardinals in the trajectory they are now. It is 2 trades. The Randy A trade,
I think I know where this is going.
and then the
Marcel?
other one
Marcel?
dates all the way back to Marcelo Zuna.
Yeah.
And hey,
You know-
once again, that trade happens because of Oscar Tavares.
That
you're right.
To an
Ozuna,
extent.
yeah,
to an
that's-
Well,
extent. it
and
does.
Hayward.
If you
leads
don't let,
power
if you can
leads.
make some guys happy and get Jason Hayward to stay. Granted, Jason Hayward after his big contract wasn't the star
No.
player. But he
He gave a damn good speech, guys. That 16 World
he helped
Series.
the,
They don't win that without
he
that,
helped
man.
the guy help the team win a World Series. Yes,
He's got nice
but-
pom-poms.
they've had a lot of stuff. You can't say break their way because it's just a lame excuse.
Yeah.
And when you give lame excuses, that's when you get the
You get to where we
loser
are now.
mentality. That's
Yeah.
literally what
The poor
Card-
me.
The little
Yeah.
That's what the Cardinals have right now. I should just say the little Cardinals because they're not big anymore.
No.
They're fighting.
We're
they're
not.
the baby puppy.
Yeah.
They're the runt of the litter. They are fighting at the bottom of the standings
I
now.
think we're getting pooped on quite a bit.
back-to-back years.
I mean, that's the thing. We're no longer looked at as a free agent destination. We're no longer looked at as a model organization. If players want to go there, people want to drive to freaking Busch Stadium, watch
The players that
games,
want to
like-
play are the teams that have either lived close or have already played here.
Yeah, it's no longer a hot spot. I don't think it is.
So on that, I watched Trevor May, the former pitcher, has a YouTube channel.
Ooh,
Mhm.
another
And
YouTuber.
He's
He-
very entertaining.
Yes, it is. It's very entertaining.
check
He
it out.
said the
Me too.
Cardinals are like the most old school organization
Yeah.
left in the majors.
Yeah.
And he said they are hard for them to change stuff. And he
They are.
brought up
Not
a
keeping
real
up
good
with the
point.
times.
on that.
Honestly.
Their biggest change was they went full
Yeah.
shift to analytics.
Yeah.
They may be the most old school organization or whatever, but they don't keep the old school mentality. You literally just watched the Rangers last year with Bruce Bochy win a World Series.
Yeah. It was impressive.
Slowpoke Bochy, old school guy, winning World Series.
Well, it's
And
almost
you
like
gotta
they
have gut
outsmarted
feeling
themselves.
too. And then you have the year before. Was it the year before that? I think the Astros won with Dusty Baker.
Dusty Baker, yeah, absolutely. These old guys getting it done.
So you have
Snedeker's been around a while in Atlanta.
You have to have analytics are part of the game. You got to have it.
Yeah.
But you got to mix it. It can't be.
I think they
one-
need their place.
You can't
Yeah.
have one thing, or you can't run your team by analytics.
Right.
It can be a part of it, but you can't focus 100% on it.
You still need the intangibles. I think that the numbers don't, like we say all the time here, heart. You need miles, heart. There's more to this. These are human beings. There's stuff that you got to see with eyes, be there on the field, do it, that numbers don't tell. You need a mix. I agree. So you think you do not see a turnaround?
No.
Okay, I like
I
that.
don't either.
I think it's. I've seen or heard people say 3 to 5 years. I don't think that. I think it's going to be 2 to 5 years.
I could get in that 2 year. I could get in that ballpark.
If it could be a 2-year thing. If somehow they completely change their thought process, what they do, and they can get rid of so much salary, eat some of it, whatever, to where they can shift their focus on the youth movement, and then
Yes.
sprinkle in, like make a trade. For,
Add those veterans that round your team out.
The
is that
trade
what you're saying?
I'm trying to say is like where you take a guy, you take on salary per se, but you get a prospect in return. You take a guy, an outcast, literally what we just did kind of with. He's been pitching well, but he was the outcast on the White Sox because he was
Fetty.
one of the guys that were at the top, and the rest of everybody's at the bottom.
Yeah.
You got to find somebody that's at the middle toward the bottom and take a prospect back with them. So then you're getting currency for taking
Yeah.
on some salary.
I'd like to do the inverse of that.
So if
I'd
you
like to
can-
send
so if
Michelson
you
a
can
prospect, get him off the team.
If you
but-
can do the shifting of cups, you send out Arenado and take some salary back and get a couple lottery ticket.
I think you're getting a little
prospects.
creative for this Cardinals staff and organization
I-
right now. I like where you're
It's
at.
the turnaround. You say turnaround.
I-
Some people think it can happen next year. I don't think so.
I would like to think, and I'm being optimistic here.
They've set themselves so far back that they have
Yeah.
to get creative now. Like
They
they did at the deadline.
Yeah.
They traded Tommy Edman to get Tommy Pham and Eric Fetty, and then they traded another prospect.
They've done it
And
before.
he's like a player to be named later, as long as it doesn't turn into.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Zach Gallen, player to be named later, will be fine on that.
That's a
aspect.
very good
But
point.
You're not even hurt by that, I don't think.
Tommy Edman wasn't playing. He's doing stuff for the Dodgers now because the Dodgers can sprinkle dust on anybody in it.
Yeah,
And it,
go figure. It's
their
fine.
their health changes and they're
We
back to
took an
normal.
area of strength, the surplus, to fill an area of weakness. As in, we got that starter. Honestly, if you're a good team, Fetty's probably your number 3, damn good number 4. In our
He's-
rotation, he's number 2.
He's a 3
Like,
for probably most of baseball. He's probably a 3.
Yeah,
unless you're
I
like
think so.
the Phillies, then he's probably a 4
Well,
because
they don't count.
they've just got so many
Might be
studs
a
over
5.
there and.
Yeah. But I guess what I'm saying, I like some of the youth we've got. Mason Wynn has took a step forward this year. I love what we've seen out of him. He's hit his strengths. He's not trying to homer every at bat. Putting the ball in play, playing good D, like Wynn. Burley, huge step forward, huge. He is a very bona fide left fielder, a good bat. He
Burley
even holds
needs
his
to
own-
play first base, and
Burley-
Goldie
Yes.
needs to walk.
I was going to say, I think Goldschmidt, I kind of hope is gone.
Burley is if they let Goldie walk, and Burley, when he's playing there this year, doesn't look the best because he doesn't get reps there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be a gold
next
glover,
year,
but
if
he'll
he
be
can get there
serviceable.
and get the reps, yeah, he could probably be a
Yeah.
very good first baseman. He's got
Yeah.
the numbers offensively.
Yeah.
His numbers against lefties is terrible, but he's a good building block. Mason Wynn, good building block,
Yeah.
but you need to take the chains off of him a little bit. He should be trying to steal probably every time he's on base.
I agree.
Agreed.
I agree.
Victor Scott,
Like,
take
Victor
the
Scott
Victor
better.
Scott-
The
is another
Cardinals,
guy I
the
was gonna
Cardinals right
say.
now they don't have power.
No, we need to manufacture runs.
So anytime one of
Play
your
some
speedy
Whitey
guys
ball.
gets on
Whitey
there,
ball.
just tell them to run. I don't care
Yeah, yeah.
if it's the first pitch of the next at bat. Tell them to run. If they get
I
thrown out,
agree.
who cares?
I agree.
Victor
Well,
Scott
you can't go station to
was-
station.
He was projected to be like Billy Hamilton
Yeah.
coming
Oh,
out
yeah.
of the minors. You know,
He's got
this year.
amazing speed, and honestly, he's a better hitter. Like he's really
He made a
improved.
change, and once again, maybe you know what? fire Gary LaRoque, put Ryan freaking Ludwig.
Yeah, when
as
Ryan
head of
Ludwig's
player
walking by the batting
development.
cage is like, hey, son, I think you might need to mix this up. Why does it take an ex-player who's not even a coach walking by to see that? It's like, maybe we should put guys
He doesn't
like that in
technically
position.
have like a full-time position. He
No.
floats around from every
I'd probably try to give him one.
aspects of.
Just thought.
He goes. He goes.
I
all the way
heard
down.
he was the reason for Walker making a bit of a change.
Yeah, I'd heard that
It was
too.
Walker.
Yeah.
It was Victor Scott.
Oh.
But how it is, he's like their personal hitting coach. He goes and then he stays with that one person. He goes he's went from I think from A ball to Double A to Triple
Oh,
A.
I
He's
see
not
what you're
been
saying.
just in Triple A.
He's not just in
He's
Triple A,
been in
okay.
every level of the
Oh,
organization.
yes, how about we think about putting him there? That'd be pretty cool. So
And his change for Scott was going from a small step to the big step for his
the leg
loading.
kick.
like
And he
leg
made
kick.
Walker a little more open.
He said his lower body wasn't going to work, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
The
it
way Scott
wasn't.
was.
It wasn't at all.
Yeah.
But so that's what someone who.
Can they send him to Nolan Gorman? Be cool.
Well,
We can do some-
I think I
he's
seen
probably-
where
I think he's
like
working
2
with
days
Gorman right
after
now, but-
Gorman got sent down, he hit a home run, and then Walker was like 3 for 4
Yeah.
immediately. I haven't-
Not their
I
first.
mean-
Gorman's first game down there, he went.
No, it was like second or third.
It was
game.
second or third because his first game down, he went 0 for 4 with 3
Yeah.
strikeouts.
Yeah, he
looked
did, but then he
lost
started
and dejected
getting-
down there.
yeah.
Right, it's because Gorman's so young too. He's got his hot and cold streaks, but it's between
He's
the ears right
streaky.
now with him.
Yeah, I agree. He looked like he was going up without a plan. He had no chance. 3 pitches was done. That's another thing. I was like, why did we finally send him down? Watching this kid struggle, bench, not playing. Then all of a sudden they send him down. I'm like, why didn't you guys do this? Like, instead of letting the kid drown,
Couldn't do it
pull him
because
up.
they couldn't do it because yes, he started off like real slow. Then he had his hot streak, and then you're like, it's so wishy-washy on that.
You know what
and
they
then-
should be able to do? Figure out how to pull him out of that. And they
Well,
should be able to be like,
they-
hey, what
they-
clicked before?
they should,
Someone should
but-
catch that.
He's
the
been
biggest
that
problem
player
with the
his
Cardinals is
whole career. His
you're-
whole career, he's been that way.
He has, but they weren't reliant. He wasn't supposed to be the
Yeah,
focal
his
point of your
role-
offense. Your focal point was supposed to be the 2 aging.
No, that's
As
true.
everybody says,
That's true.
superstar. They ain't superstars. They're stars.
Rogers has said that in the chat like 3 times about how Arenado and Goldie need to be held more accountable for how they're playing.
100%. 100%. I mean, that's why we are where we are. If Goldie and Arenado were Goldie and Arenado, we would not be having this conversation. We would be, if not division lead, we'd be right up there in the wild card.
Hell, if they were
I want
3
to say
quarters,
if they were half,
Yeah.
half
Yeah.
of what they are.
No,
or
you're right.
half, yeah.
If they were half, you would probably won 7 more games this year.
Absolutely.
If they were half,
Absolutely.
because you're going to get at the right now because Arenado got like 13 homers.
Well, guys,
He
right
should probably
now-
be at 20 homers right now.
Right now, guys, if they're not on the field, does it matter to us? And
No.
that says a lot.
No.
When you look at a lineup and you used to, if they weren't in it, it's like, crap. You know, where's our offense coming from today? Now it's like, okay.
I think
Okay.
I don't remember when the first time they did that this year. I think I made that comment to you on phone call. That
Like,
I
okay.
was like, I didn't really miss them.
no, you don't.
Well,
you don't.
You said that about the lineup tonight.
yeah.
You have
They
no
got-
Arenado tonight. Goldschmidt's hitting down in the 7th spot, and I was like, okay, a fresh start. Your Lucan Baker's your 3-hitter. He's got power.
Yeah.
You got to give him the runway. I'm not. They're legacy players, I guess if you can say that right now, but I don't get attached to legacy players.
No.
I get attached to guys that
Are producing?
carrying my team.
Yeah.
Your stars have to be able to carry your team through the cold stretches. You can't have Donovan, Wynn, Burleson,
I like
a
those
weak
guys.
stretch carry your team. It has
Yeah.
to be the stars, the guys that are making the money.
Yeah.
Because if they're getting paid and not producing at that, you're setting the whole team back. You don't get.
Think of how many times that during the years in past that we were on a cold streak and Albert would win us games.
Oh,
now
yeah,
they're not
absolutely.
Albert. No one else is Albert.
No,
you know,
we don't have that guy that can do
there's
that.
he's
But I
one of
think-
however many to hit 700 home runs. But think of how many times that man kept us
Yeah.
afloat.
If Albert would come up with one at bat left in the eighth,
Oh, you
he
had
gets
a
one more
chance.
at bat toward the end of the game, I felt confident about winning
Yeah,
that game.
yeah. You felt
The
like we
whole
shot-
time he was in a Cardinal uniform, even his last year.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you have
Well, I would count guys on base. I'm like, okay, if we're down 3, 2 guys get on base, and I'd be doing the math. Okay, he's up there, still outs on the table. All right, well, let's do this.
We're,
You say-
I want that
we're
scenario.
going
You
to
do
go
that-
down
you do
swinging
that
with
now.
our big bat.
You do that now, and if I know Arenado and Goldie are in the lineup,
It's over.
and I'm doing the math work because
Yeah.
I knew it the other day when they were playing the Brewers that Goldie was going to come up. If they get these two guys on, they're going to walk Nootbaar,
Yeah.
and Goldie's going to come up, and I was like, he's not going to come through
Yeah.
because
You
for the
just
last
feel like
year and a
failure.
half, the clutch hits by your big boppers hasn't been there.
Okay, but here, that part of this plays into my point why I feel like there's hope for the future, because Goldie's contract's up, and I'm like, okay. Like, that production can be replaced. What can we do monetary-wise, which I know you discussed earlier that Gray will eat into that, Nada will. But here's the thing. If we can figure out with these young guys, I still have faith that Jordan Walker can be that big middle of the order bat, that producer you need, can be your star of the future. I still have faith in that.
I have
teach
faith
what the kid
that he
does.
can get there too, but next year it shouldn't be. Oh, you're immediately in the 3-4 spot.
I agree with that. Yeah, I might
If
be
you put
a
him in
year
the
ahead.
2-5 spot, okay,
Yeah.
because he's hitting in front of who should be your best hitter in
Yeah.
your 3 spot, or the 5 spot, who is hitting right after the guy that they're probably going to walk because he's got tremendous power
Yeah.
potentially, but. That right now, I don't know who it could potentially be your 4 hitter to be with tremendous power because
Probably
it just
Burleson.
Willie
fluctuates.
Big Bats will be back. Willie Contreras, he'd be fine.
He's probably the 3.
Yeah, he's
And
3 or 4.
Burleson.
I'm not sure. Like, he's 3 or 4 for
It's
next
one of
year.
those two. You
Yeah.
might flip flop those two.
But I guess what I'm saying, talent as a whole, like we mentioned Scott, I'm pretty high on him. Newt, I wish that he could put it together. I don't know about that. But when there's a lot of talent on the roster, the pitching side, I really like Quinn Matthews. Lefty we've got. It's that lefty dynamic haven't had.
The problem is they're
You're talking about the youth movement, and I hadn't got to say that guy's name. If Quinn Matthews is a guy that they actually like what they've seen, and they give that guy some leash next year, if you shed the salary and go to the young guy like Quinn Matthews, how much money you're saving? If you can get Michaelis's contract, Matt, and
off the books. See, that's where
out
I'm
here
at.
out on this side, but then you already have a guy who can be your 3 pitcher next year in Palante.
Yeah.
Palante's proven
Palante's
it.
been our
Palante
best
has
pitcher
been
the
your
last
ace.
month. He
the
has.
last month.
He has.
Or maybe not.
Sonny Gray
last 3
struggled.
weeks. He's been your
Sonny
ace.
Gray struggled.
So then, if you have another young guy in Quinn Matthews that can slot in there and be your 4.
And you've got like
well, you can have
and then you have-
Grishefo.
We've got
you
more
can
pitching
have,
depth than we've had in a long time.
McGreevy.
You've got Jerpe and Double-A. You've got Hintz there. I'm not saying all these guys are going to come up and
Well,
hit, but
Herpé and Hintz, they're going to be a ways.
they're Double-A, right?
They're
going to
Double-A.
be
not next
they're
year,
going to
the
be a ways,
following.
but for your youth
Yeah.
movement to thrive, you've got to be able to have the guys, as they say, ride the bus up back and forth.
But I think Grishefo and
got these
McGreevy
guys.
should be in the rotation next year.
Into the
no question.
Oh, I was going to say into this year.
Or
see what they
into
got.
this year,
Into
I
this
wouldn't be
year,
opposed to
absolutely.
it either.
So I'm not saying these guys are aces, but they're very solid. I'll tell you what, I'd rather see those guys innings, their bullets, than a Michaelis.
Yes.
Than a Lynn down the stretch.
Yeah.
Even than Gibby. And Gibby's one that I'm okay we bring back next year, but if we do that, I'd rather not see a Michaelis, which I don't know how they get out of that.
You say Gibby.
We'll have this down
I don't-
the road.
I don't hate the Gibby signing. His numbers right
Yeah,
now.
I don't either.
His
He's been
numbers
fine.
are literally what's
They
on the
are
back of his
what you
baseball
expect.
card.
Yeah, they're what you
He's
expect.
his
Yeah.
projections beginning of the year. He was supposed to finish the year with a 4.5 ERA. He's sitting at a 4.54 ERA right now.
He's solid.
He's
and he
literally
gives
been what
innings.
you wanted. Lance
Yeah.
Lynn, you knew he was going to give up dingers.
Yeah.
The guy that you gave the most money to, who hasn't lived up to it, is Sonny Gray.
Yeah. He started off hot.
But
he's struggled.
he's a contract you can't get out of as easily.
But
So you
that's
have to
fine.
keep that. He has to be your.
You look at this strikeout numbers. I'm not saying he's going to return to last year's form in the duration of this contract, but Sonny Gray, we said it when we signed him. I was like, that's a heck of a number 2. I really wasn't on him being an ace. Our ace, yes. Because
He is our ace. He wasn't an ace. Yes, he came off a big year of Cy Young votes,
But you don't view him as an ace in baseball?
Was he an ace for the Twins?
Well, technically last year he was.
No, he wasn't. Pablo Lopez was their ace.
He had numbers worthy of an ace.
He did.
Yes, but that's the
most
first
of the
year.
time when Sonny Gray lined up against guys, it wasn't the ace
number
he was
2.
facing. He was the number
Yeah.
2.
I mean, he still went to
Pablo
lineups,
was there
but
because Pablo had the. He had the.
they were kind of co-aces, I thought, really.
He
But-
didn't have the breaking ball, swing and miss stuff like Sonny Gray did.
Yeah.
Pablo Lopez could beat you with a fastball.
Oh, yeah.
That's what your staff ace has to have. He's
He-
got to be able to have the heater.
I agree, and the durability. Like Sonny Gray, with all due respect, if you look at throughout his career, if I'm talking about an ace, I want 200 innings. I want them to take the ball every freaking fifth day. I want them to give your team a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout his career, I don't think Sonny Gray's been that. That being said, I didn't hate the contract.
Sonny Gray,
I didn't hate it.
He's been an ace probably 2 years.
That's fair. Yeah.
3
2 or
years.
3.
We'll give him 3 years. He was an ace for Oakland, a legit ace for Oakland
Legit,
1 year.
yeah.
He was a legit ace for Cincinnati a year.
Yeah, he
and
was.
then he had ace numbers for Minnesota.
Yep, that's true.
He's not had ace numbers for us. Because if you had an ace numbers, he wouldn't have had, I was thinking, 6 homers before the All-Star break. How many homers do you think he's gave up since then?
Actually, 14. I think 14. He's given up 20 on the year.
He's doubled
That hit me.
over his homers given up in
I
the second
looked into
half.
our bright lights. It's like, whoa, the number came to me.
Yeah, he's
been
striking.
bad.
He's striking guys out, but
Yeah.
he's getting bit by the long ball.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I think my point being on here is there is promising pitching. If honestly, you throw all these names out here, you get 2 of them to hit, and I'll tell you what, I'd have to look at the free agent class. I know Freed's out there, some of them. I think if you could add a top-end starter, I think we got enough arms to figure out the pin. I really do. We're not going to get all into that because
There's going to be plenty of arms out there.
Yeah, well, we'll have
Because
it-
you've just seen in this trade deadline, there was plenty of guys that were rentals that were traded for a farm.
Right. We'll have an episode at the end of the year, kind of an overview of what went wrong and what they can do for next year. But for now, my point being is you look at all this pitching we've got. If
How quick is the turnaround?
some of this offense comes around, given this division, I think it's going to be like this year going into the year. It's winnable again. I'm not saying I put much money down on them to win the division, but I think there's a path to win it. I do not know with this leadership we have.
There is a path.
I don't think the leadership we have, it can happen. I really
There-
think
there
we need
is
to make a
path,
manager change.
But the path is very rough
It is.
because the other teams that are in your division, the Brewers somehow can
Yeah.
take the least amount of talent and get the most out of it. But
Yeah.
then you have
Well-
these other 2 organizations, the Reds, a lot of talent.
They got punched in the balls with injuries this year. They would have been
have
a lot
of
better.
talent.
Yeah.
It's just they
Didn't
got to get
happen
it. They
this
just
year.
got to get it going.
You're right. You're right.
The Cubbies,
They're
they're
a
spending
sleeping
lots
giant.
of a lot
They're-
of money. I don't know what they're going to do. They're the
I'll
wild
tell you what,
card
if they
of
fix
the
their
other
bullpen,
teams.
they could be dangerous
But
next
the
year.
Pirates, they're
Pirates
surging.
pitching.
Yes.
The Pirates have the
Keller
foundation
schemes.
that every team that can go deep in the playoffs
They do.
have. It's pitching.
They need some offense.
They need offense, and they can. When they made their big runs a few years ago, they had the pitching,
I forgot Jared Jones. My bad.
and then they
Keller
sprinkled
scheme
in
Jones.
some guys in there
Yeah.
when they had like a Russell Martin and stuff like that. When they had these other
Yeah.
guys that they weren't at their primes anymore, but they were still getting good
Yeah.
production out of them. That's literally the trajectory the Cardinals are in. They have to get these guys that are not prime candidates anymore and
Yeah.
sprinkle a little love on them and somehow because
That devil magic. That's the reference I was thinking
I
of
ain't
earlier
gonna
that we
say
used to
devil
have.
magic,
the devil
but
magic
they've got to
that
be
they
able to
do.
get
They just need to get what is expected
As
out of
the-
a lot of the guys they've got.
as the old Moneyball movie with Brad Pitt and that line he says in there, and he's talking to David Justice. He's like, "You want to stay in the show as long as you can, and I want to squeeze every little ounce left of baseball in you." That's literally what the Cardinals have to do
Yeah.
for the next few years.
Yeah.
Squeeze the last bit of life out of some aging guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think my point on this is what have we just said about the whole Central? For all 5 teams, one thing's been the same. If. That's why I think we have a chance is because
It
there's
is-
so much
there-
up in the air.
there are so
Every
many
single
ifs.
team. There's not a Dodgers here. There's not a Phillies, a Braves. There's not. So I will say right now, I think next year they need to make changes. I'm not saying, oh, run it back. The same roster, the same crap. They need to make changes, but I think it's feasible. They're back in the playoffs next year. I really do. As much as I don't want to, as much as I'm down on them right now, I
Woody,
can
what-
see a conceivable path.
I got a question for you.
Okay, I don't know if I have an answer, but let's hear
What
it.
do you think if they kind of just go complete youth movement next year? If we're not in the playoffs, but we go complete youth movement. how do you
Truthfully,
feel?
if they miss the playoffs but go complete youth movement, I'm fine with it because there is a direction.
okay,
the-
that's
or
kind of
we've
how
just
I
seen with
feel
the
too.
Blues.
There's a direction.
Yes.
They have to go into the spring training with that thought. They
Hell,
can't go
yes.
in, oh, we're
Dude.
going to try to win. If you're going to go full youth movement, you've got to find a taker for Mats. You got to find a taker for
Yeah.
Michaelis. You've got to get rid of payroll so then you can get some
You gotta know who you are.
I don't want
and embrace
them to put on their bench where they had a Brandon Crawford who just took a spot. Yes, he did some stuff here and there, but that is not what your bench spots are for.
He was a veteran leader with his pom-poms. That's what that
And then-
was. And a backup to Mason.
Your love, Matt Carpenter.
Yeah.
He served a role in helping.
He brought salsa.
He didn't bring salsa, but he helped
That's our
Burleson
problem.
find something in his
Yeah.
swing.
He
Okay,
did. Well, guess what? We should have
But-
coaches for that.
you can't have 2 bench coaches.
I agree.
It doesn't work.
I agree. Well, you shouldn't have to bring those guys in for veteran
Like
leadership when
a
you have a
to-
team with Goldie and Arenado on it. in my
Like a
mind.
Tommy Pham. If you wanted him for a bench spot, okay,
He's
for
here to
next
fight
year,
guys.
fine.
Yeah.
If they do bring Goldie back, he's going to have to be like less than $5 million for your bench spot.
I agree.
He's
I
not
agree.
going to be an everyday spot. If you know if somehow
And
in
he's
spring
not your
training
number 4 hitter.
his numbers look good against like a lefty, he's your platoon for
Yeah.
a lefty.
Yeah.
He literally gets the treatment that Luken Baker's getting right now, a platoon lefty.
I
But
agree.
actually tonight was the weird thing because
he
he's
gets
facing,
the Albert
he's getting the,
treatment.
I'm gonna tell you what. I think right now Goldie retires into the year. I'm gonna put money down on that. 'cause
Really?
He's a prideful man. He's
I
a
don't.
prideful
I don't
man.
think he will. He wants to play. He said it numerous times to different St. Louis reporters that he wants to play.
But have you seen how down he's been in interviews and saying, how much he's hurt the team? He's not about that.
he is,
We'll see, but
he's not about that. But he's also not going to give you the bureaucratic answer.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to tell you and pour his heart out, but he still wants to play.
might
He
be.
feels
might
like
be.
he feels like he has probably 2 years of baseball left in him.
That
If the
clock's ticking pretty fast on him
Cardinals
right
don't
now.
give him, I don't want them just to resign him. He has to
Yeah.
hit free agency where they can get away from where they can only give him the 20% pay cut.
Well, I think if
because
somebody,
it has to be
I
less.
agree with that.
He has to get a contract probably less than like $8 million.
I think if somebody offers him an everyday role, that's probably where he goes. And I don't think that's a fit here. We'll
No.
see.
No,
I-
no. You could see somebody taking him as a platoon player. Like he could go.
I'd have to look into this really, like who's going to need a first base platoon guy, because a lot of these contenders, they're pretty set there.
A lot of these
you know.
contenders potentially, the Yankees,
Astros.
Astros, yeah, that's fair.
I
Well,
seen-
and another team that always is willing to.
Astros, he's from.
He's
I
from
seen
Texas.
at the trade deadline there was a bit of talk, and people were kind of saying that maybe the Astros might be looking into Goldie.
Yeah, that would have been a very good fit this year. That's a good point.
They potentially were, but then they were getting very good production out of John Singleton.
Yeah.
They-
Well, when John Singleton's hitting better than Goldie, that
I'm
says
just-
it all, guys. It's a possibility. It is. There's a ways with the rest of
Rogers,
the
if we
season.
sign Carpenter to a 3-year extension, I am burning all my Cardinal stuff.
That's one I
I'm
definitely don't think
burning
has
all
3 years
those
left.
bobbleheads too.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But I guess point being, I think there is a path. And, gosh, I hope it's better than this year.
Man.
So, you got any more Cardinals thoughts? Or you want to talk happy baseball?
Well,
As in good teams?
It's been about a little over an hour. We talked kind of negative, but you didn't
Yeah.
get the full negative I could give you. But
You
Let's
got more
hear it.
Fire away.
no, it was kind of dummied down. We kind of talked over it all there.
You
If
got
you
a
got something
free
to say, you
mic.
say it.
We're not on Wabash. You can say
Yeah.
whatever the hell you want to say. Let her eat.
If you want to say these guys are fucking idiots, have at it.
No, I can't say they're idiots because they are. You can't be idiots if you have a team, be owners. You can't be an idiot to get a president of baseball operations, and you can't be an idiot to somehow become a manager of baseball. But evidently,
Well, Jeff Fisher
evidently-
was an NFL head coach.
evidently,
I had to say to that.
evidently, all 3 levels, evidently, common sense is not there now.
Yeah, I agree. Like a lot of the news
Because-
we've just talked about.
To make money, I don't know if it's hand over fist money that the DeWitts make. The only way the people would know the truth on is that if we get to see their books. But that's something we'll never get to see. And then Mo is, it's just his tone. If he would talk, the biggest gripe that us Cardinal fans have today is we feel like we don't get told the truth, and we get talked down to.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you have, we haven't even talked. We've talked. He's made football references. We want a president of baseball operations that talks like
I know you're going here.
our
boy.
hockey man.
Doug Armstrong.
Dougie
Absolutely.
Armstrong.
Yeah.
If he says that he would do it to his own mother, man, that don't even have to be speaking the truth. It gives your fan base hope.
Yeah.
That is the strongest thing for a fan base is hope. I seen something earlier today. It's not even about hope. It's certain people saying, I'll always be a fan of the Cardinals, but I'm not going to be a customer. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to come and spend my money, but I'll still be a fan of you. But I'm not going to spend my money because you just want me to be a customer.
Yeah.
We didn't set the standard for this organization. You did.
Yeah.
When you said we are not a 500 baseball team and you fired Mike Matheny at the All-Star break.
Yeah.
We're not a 500 team. So why should us Cardinal fans expect that now? Yes, I understand it's hard to sustain that success, but you've done it for years. Then you had a couple years, probably a year off where you didn't make the playoffs, but then you got right back at it. You changed some stuff. You had a superstar to lean on. You don't have that right now. Nolan Arenado, he's a star, not a superstar. Something, I don't know what happened in the offseason where his numbers were already declining last year. But
I think he forgot to eat his Wheaties.
But then you can't put your eggs into one big basket because some of them are rotten.
Yeah. Well, I think they set the tone for the season when you came off the worst season, I believe, of our lifetime, or almost second worst, by rewarding your manager with a contract extension. That, to me, I'm like, okay, so we're prioritizing our yes man over performance.
I don't think it was a reward. I think it was a failsafe.
I mean, I'd take that as a reward, the money he got. I was just, it pissed
wasn't,
me off as a fan.
When I'm talking about it like that side, yes, it was a reward to Ollie, but it was a failsafe for Mo and the ownership group.
Yeah,
because
maybe he can be the scapegoat.
Because as you guys, or our stat man brought up,
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Change is hard for this Cardinal organization.
Yeah, it is. Well,
And if you don't, the way baseball's it's changed with the rules and everything, it's not the same game of baseball anymore.
Yeah.
So you either adapt or you die. And right now, we're not technically dying, but your franchise is failing. Your attendance is at all-time low. Yeah. When you have your, what is the word? Or your advertised people in attendance, whatever, your ticket sales, but you only have probably about 13,000 through the turnstiles.
Oh, you're saying the little Rick Horton guessed the attendance game.
Yeah, guess the attendance game. It says here 28,000, which was an all-time low, and there's only probably about 13,000 people there.
I think there's that many empty seats I can see, but
if you want to turn this into a revenue thing, yes, you're not making any money, so you won't throw it into the team, but it's not the only money you're going to miss out on is the attendance. As you guys said, people want to drink beer at a Cardinals game.
Yeah.
There ain't going to be as many people drinking beer if they ain't there.
Trickle-down effect there, So, yeah, I think something's got to change. You're in the same boat. If you want to keep ripping, this is great. Have you said your piece? Do you feel better?
Yeah, we just need to transition to something else.
It feels like there's a weight off your chest.
It's not really a weight. It's just...
Do you want to give him a middle finger? Would that make it feel better? Oh, okay. Sorry, YouTube.
I love the Cardinal franchise. It's just... Yeah. I don't love the trajectory. It's like I said, I didn't set the standard.
Yeah.
But I would like them to uphold the standard that they set for themselves.
I agree with that. Yeah, practice what you preach, and that's not happening right now. So that's all we're at. We're going to take a real quick break.
Hold on. I need
we got
to tell
more?
you something.
Uh-oh.
Roger says, and I quote,
Oh, boy.
You need to prepare yourself for this. I think Stan Kroenke should give it another go at STL and buy the Cardinals.
I think I'm going to hunt you down, and here's an Armstrong quote. I'm going to grab that knife, I'm going to find you, stab it down your eye, and kill you. No.
Jab it in their eye and kill him.
Nothing I have to say to that one. So on that one, I got to take a break, or it's going to get bad. We'll be back here shortly and talk about some good teams, not these shitbags. We're back, and we're going to talk about over 500 baseball teams now,
That's gonna be fun.
which is not our St. Louis Cardinals, so we'll just turn that around. There we go. Bad birds, bad birds. So here we go. Let's go ahead and you want to start in the American League?
Yes, I
nice
do.
American and whatnot. Well, we got Baltimore. Actually, you know what? Let's start this. Let's start this off. Who are you looking at as your favorite right now?
For the American League,
Do we need to look each other in the eyes and say the same team at the same time?
I don't know if we have probably the same team in the
Really?
American League.
Who fires first? You're the guest. You're
No,
I'm the
no,
home
no,
team.
no.
You're guest.
You go first.
Okay, here we go. I'll start off and look like a jackass. So, I hate to say it, but the bastard Astros are back. And that is the team I'm looking at right now. If I had to put money down as your AL champion, I don't like saying this, but given their trajectory, their record isn't even the best. It's like down there 5th or 6th, I think. We'll pull that up in a minute. 5th or 6th-ish in the league, but by gosh, they're getting pitching. They're getting guys back. The Kikuchi trade that I came on here and ripped, like, oh my gosh, they gave up so much for Kikuchi. And you see what the Dodgers did for Jay Flair. Loperfino, and changed with their best. Blias, I think his name. Very good starting pitcher in the minors is like, that was an overpay. By gosh, he's fitting in well with them. They've got Valdez. He's rounding into form. Verlander's back now. Blanco's still somewhat pitching. Like, they've got the rotation, and they're one of those teams. I love these teams, these amazing bullpens, that you can get 5 from your starter, and you can roll out 6, 7, 8, 9. They can do it. Their offense. Kyle Tucker, I guess his knee did not fall off all the way, his foot. He's going to play this year. They've done all this. They were sub 500 when he got hurt, and he was MVP. Caliber numbers, not the MVP, sorry. Because Aaron Judge is stupid.
When you say sub 500, do you know how far sub 500 they were when they played?
Oh, yeah. They were talking sell.
They were
talking
They were
sell.
10 games under 500 when they came to play St. Louis.
Yes, you're right. I mean, they were talking
They were
Bregman
talking about
gone.
potentially selling.
Yeah, there was a lot of names.
They've
floating
gotten
around.
hot. They have.
And the whole time it's like, kick them while they're down. Seattle, what are you doing? You had a 10-game lead on them that you gave up in about 12 games.
That was in my notes.
I think it was 24 games.
Seattle
they gave to
disappointed
them.
me. They let me
Yeah,
down.
that was
Seattle was
with
my
you.
pick to win that division.
I was with you. The pitching, amazing.
And they did what I wanted them to do at the deadline, and then evidently when teams do what you want them to do at the deadline, they just fall flat. Cardinals
even
did what
got-
we wanted at the deadline,
Yeah,
fall flat.
fall flat,
Mariners
yeah.
did what I wanted at the deadline, they've fallen flat.
I think that was your big winner from the deadline, Seattle. And I'm not going to just say you.
They for buyers, I thought were one of my big winners.
They held
but
what they needed.
The biggest winners to me were the two teams that sold the most. It was the Marlins and
Oh,
the
yeah, the
Rays.
sellers were.
But we're
I
not
agree.
getting into that.
Yeah.
We're focusing on the teams that are winning.
Well, that's where I'm at. Houston, like I said, Hader is Josh Hader. Big surprise. He's still pretty freaking good. They're getting Presley's coming back. I mean, they're back in the pen. They just got Neris back, too. Couldn't do anything in Chicago, but I'll bet you Houston, he's Hector Neris again.
Houston's probably going to be right there, but
That's who I have.
I don't know. The team that it's like my American League fandom, I guess. That's
All
not even my organization, but I just love what they've done from the ground up, and that's the Baltimore Orioles. They're not first in the division, but man, I really think they can still somehow catch that surging Yanks.
Yeah,
Baltimore, they have all the youth in the world
they do.
to build around. They have
With
all that
veterans,
offense, and they have pitching.
Yeah.
It's just their bullpen.
Well,
their
that's-
bullpen shaky. Their
Yes.
rotation's hindered by some injuries here and there, but
That's what worries me,
It's
what you
just-
just said right there.
I still think they can potentially, because
Well, if they were healthy, I'd be on board with
they
you.
still have a couple more days of if somebody gets DFA'd.
Pick up. Oh.
They could somehow find a guy like what the Padres
Yeah,
did
but-
just yesterday. Padres minor league deal to Elias Diaz, who was an all-star last year for the
wow.
Rockies.
Yeah, he was.
So he's eligible for postseason.
he was a guy I thought they'd
As long
trade.
they
honestly.
have to be before I believe September 1st. They're eligible for the postseason.
You're
if they're
right.
Picked up by then.
Someone's
So
going to pick
there's-
up that Sean Armstrong at the Cardinals, and he's going to do something.
You could probably see Baltimore picking him up. I'm not even joking.
Actually, that would be a fit. That would be a fit.
Sean Armstrong, we dogged him for only pitching 11. His
Oh,
ERA was
he wasn't bad.
His ERA, he wasn't the worst reliever in the pen. It was 2.81.
We're not
he
talking
wasn't-
Cardinals, but we dogged them. Not
He
him. We dogged
he
them.
wasn't striking guys out, but if you
Yeah.
need another arm, You're getting him basically.
Yeah.
You're getting him for free. He's going to get the league minimum because he's DFA'd.
So that's my problem with them is their pen, though. Kimbrel's looked terrible. Cano's not looked as good. I don't know when Felix Bautista's back. If he's in the mix.
Felix is going to be the wild card. I think I said
Yeah.
to you earlier in the year that if he comes back and you can just get him an inning out of him maybe like once every 5 days.
Yeah, but what
That
is it
boost-
going to be?
it-
You know what I'm saying? Coming off Tommy John, thrown into a playoff race, where's the control? I guess I'm not banking on him.
I'm not banking on it, but I mean, you've seen a guy come back from Tommy John twice, and Justin Verlander, and Felix
Dude,
Bautista.
Felix
He
don't
don't
have
have.
Kate-
He
he
don't
don't have
have
Kate Upton.
He don't have the track
don't have Kate
record,
Upton.
but Felix Bautista's stuff is just so nasty.
It is.
If
Oh,
you
it
get
is. It is.
60% of the stuff he had
Yeah.
before Tommy John,
Well, it's better than Kimbrel now.
I'm still going to throw him out there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Baltimore, like you said, they don't have the pitching, and generally it's
No.
the rotation and pitching that will win you in the postseason. But Baltimore, just slug baby slug.
Yeah, it is, but man, Houston can match it, I think. And
Houston,
I think they can match them.
It's
They've
funny.
got
It's
guys
funny.
that have done it.
It's funny in our
They've got
picks
guys that
because
have
they
done it.
both. It was literally just a 4-game series that those two teams
Yeah, and they
played,
split
and they
it?
split dead even.
Yeah, yeah.
They beat up on each other.
They do. It's a close contested between those two. I guess where I give the edge to Houston is the postseason experience. I think there is some merit to that. I would love for Baltimore to knock them out. Like, I'm going against what I would like to see. If you get G-Rod back, it's a big if. And Eflin, he's down too. Like, oh yeah, and that Taylor Rogers guy or Tyler Rogers.
Trevor Rogers.
That guy. Yeah, that's my point. That guy that was with Miami that they. I didn't understand that trade.
They traded for him for depth for next year. It
And
wasn't.
he's in the minors.
He got
he's in the
sent down.
minors.
Yes, they.
I
As we-
wanted them to go all in.
We did, and I really wanted them to go in and get Scuba, but they didn't
Yeah.
do that. But
No,
their organization, that's another reason I like them so much. They're not playing checkers; they're playing chess. They think for moves down the road. Trevor Rogers is a guy that has upside potential, and they did give up a decent amount to get him.
Yeah.
But he had so much service time. He had 3 years left.
That's fair, but
I know
I'm
you're-
talking this year.
But I
know,
know this year.
I don't think he
they-
makes them better.
With them going and getting, he's hurt now, as you said, Eflin. But that was probably their big arm they got.
I did like that move. I love that move.
But to get them over the top, if they would have got a Scooble, it would have been a slam dunk. Everybody's
Yes.
picking the Orioles to win the American League and probably the World Series.
And that's why
Because they would have had a two-headed monster
Yeah,
of Corbin Burns
yes.
and
of course, it doesn't
Scooble.
hurt that G-Rod got hurt shortly after the deadline. They couldn't anticipate that. They can't anticipate the injuries. But I'm going off of current day. What I'm looking at is Houston's my favorite.
Yeah,
The Yankees, they're there. They're leading that division right now.
they are.
They're gonna be
Their
dangerous.
offense is hot. When I say
Aaron
hot,
Judge is
when
hot.
I say hot, it's Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, and you can occasionally sprinkle in this Giancarlo Stanton dingers.
He's had a good year. No ripping him. When healthy, he's only
The
missed
funny
a little
thing
bit
is,
of
you
time.
say good year. I'm going to say he's had a quiet year because
when Judge is hitting 60,
when
yeah.
Stanton's not in the news,
Yeah,
that's good for an organization because
that's fair. That's fair.
that means he's probably not hurt.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Their lineup depth's been a problem. I'm tell you what, I'm looking at Jason Dominguez. I'd love to see him come up, get a little runway, see what happens there. I really like him as a prospect. I mean, Glaber hadn't hit all year, but
They're-
he's hitting the postseason.
Yeah,
You know, if
he
they get
has. It's
in-
just some guys can turn on a switch in
Yeah.
the postseason, so you got to hope for that. But
Yeah. Garrett Cole has looked a little better lately. Not Garrett Cole-like, but he had a start and he struck out 11 last week before. If he can round into form, you
like
know,
you said, Derek Cole, he gave up Dylan Cruz's first hit today. It was a double.
good for him. There we go.
Dylan
Gotta give
Cruz
the
on
kid
the
some
board.
love. Well, hey, Jason Dominguez, who'd he get his first career hit off of? Oppo Taco.
I don't know.
Justin Verlander into the Crawford boxes. Very first
Oh,
Major
yeah,
League
in
hit
Houston.
last
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe it was his first at bat. Pretty cool. But, you know, if Heel comes back, if I said his name right, Luis Heel, you know, Carlos Rondon, you every once in a while get brilliance out of him.
Yeah,
Nestor. Clark Schmidt, I'm sorry. That could be their third or
their
possibly their
rotation
third
is
best starter.
shaky.
Their pen worries me because Clay Holmes has been garbage, I think, this year.
Most of their relievers have been terrible.
Yeah, I really thought they would bulk up the pen more. So I worries
They
me
didn't
with
have
them.
for the big arms that you potentially would have benefited them the most, like a Tanner Scott. But the
Yeah.
Padres went over the top. I'm
They-
going to choke you out to get this guy.
They did. They did.
So the Yanks had no shot at him. They didn't have the currency to do that, and
Well, they didn't want to spend that kind of currency,
And they
I
couldn't
can't
spend.
fault
They
them.
couldn't spend the money on that.
Yeah, no, I can't fault them on that. I think they could be dangerous because, like I said, Judge could win you a series on
Judge
his own.
and Judge and Soto could win you a series, yes, but if the other guys around you aren't hitting, I'm
Yeah,
just I'm
that's a problem.
I'm
Why
gonna
would you
give.
pitch to 'em?
I'm probably gonna give both those guys the Bonds treatment.
So
We're
this
gonna
is-
walk.
well-
If they're starting an inning off, we're gonna have first and second to start this inning. We're
I
gonna go for the
agree.
guys behind you.
Let's continue ripping the Cardinals and Matheny back in the day when David Ortiz, what did it take till Game 5 when it's like, all right, this guy's hitting
Yeah, you
like
probably should stop.
700.
He's hitting
Yeah.
700, and I think he's hit 6 homers
Yeah,
in
we should
5
probably not
games. We
pitch
probably
to him,
shouldn't pitch
just
to
a
him.
thought. So, but the rest of that division, I don't think Boston's going to make it. I think they're gonna. I think they were a year early this year. Like they've got.
No,
some
Boston
talent.
won't get in.
No, I think though next year, they're another team. They add a starter, an ace. They're coming back. They're all right. Tampa Bay's not even trying to win, and they're somehow creeping into the wild card race. It's Tampa Bay. What a shock. The Central, my gosh, this is a division that I disrespected. I deserve whatever punishment for this division. We went on here saying the two Centrals are the same, okay? Whoever wins that one, you won't get a wild card team out of it. Didn't like either one of them. This American League Central division has been awesome.
There should be 3 teams coming out of that division.
I agree. Do you think the Guardians get past? I kind of wonder that.
Well, the way the Royals are playing right now, they're smothering the Guardians because I think they were up.
That's my team.
They were up 2 or 3-0 when I checked
Wait for
earlier
it.
today.
Lock us back there somewhere. I love what they've done. Like going into the other rotation, I just kind of turned my nose
The
at
Royals-
it. It's been awesome.
The Royals, kind of on a smaller scale, kind of did what the Orioles did. They've got the youth of
Well,
their hitters,
They've
and then
got-
they've got some pitching thrown
yeah,
in
some
there.
veteran pitching, but they also got Uncle Salvi. still
When you
behind
say
the dish.
veteran pitching, they got some veteran pitching.
They-
They got gold out of Seth Lugo and Waka there.
Say yes.
They've
Waka,
Lugo
waka, waka.
as I don't know what water they gave him in Kansas City, but
that Ponce de Leon, the fountain of youth.
Seth Lugo was
Dude, and Brady Singer too. He's had a pretty decent
a
year for him.
multiple inning reliever,
Yeah.
and now he is a stud starter for them.
He was a swing man, multi-inning reliever. He's been
And
great.
the-
Cole Reagans.
I was getting ready to say that
Sad
the Royals. This is the part where I say you trade a guy to get prospects back or
Ah.
whatever. They spent
Texas,
money on Aroldis Chapman, sent off him and get Cole Reagans.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
And
That's a
now
great
he
call.
is
He'd been injury prone. His prospects started faded, but they saw something.
for this
They
team.
saw
He's not
something.
technically their ace, but he is their ace of the future.
He's
He's
the
got
ace.
electric stuff.
Yeah.
He's just got to hone it all in.
Oh,
he can
yeah.
strike a ton
when
of
his
guys out.
control's on.
But he will walk.
nasty.
He'll walk a lot of guys, but
Lefty,
he's got a
97,
lot of
give me
nasty
that.
stuff.
Yeah, they added Michael Lorenzen too, like to round out their rotation. Like, the rotation's
They
great.
didn't give up anything to get
No.
Lorenzen.
Smart. Their pin though, when they added Lucas Ursig from Oakland and Hunter Harvey, I think he's hurt right now.
They
Has,
went out and they jumped the market to get Hunter Harvey.
Yeah. Who was that Civil War general guy pitching for him? Was it James MacArthur? I think was their closer. That's got to be like a general somewhere in history.
Oh,
I
gosh.
don't know. But he doesn't have the best stuff, blowing some games, and they overpaid, I thought, for Harvey, but they got what they needed, and he's under control for next year.
You say overpaid, but if he would have been around for the deadline, they might have had to pay what the Padres did for Tanner Scott.
Well, they gave up less than they did, so you're correct. Yeah, relievers. That was the best currency at the deadline. Was relievers. That's where the most-
Relievers
yeah.
were so much on it, and a lot of people overpaid to get what they wanted.
I agree 100%. But
So-
that's my team. I'd like seeing the Central. The Twins didn't do much.
The
But they're
Twi-
right there.
The Twins don't generally ever do
No,
much, but
no.
somehow
They're there.
they have stuff falling in their lap.
Well, they're
I know his
pitching.
numbers. I know his numbers ain't the greatest, but like Carlos Correa,
Yeah.
he is for some reason a glue guy right now in that organization.
He's got the trash can banging.
I don't know about that, but the Twins, they somehow find ways to, and that was people like the dumpster fire
Well-
division, but there's 3 teams that are going to be in the playoffs from that division.
And they've
They're
got
one of them.
The Twins pitching like that they've supplemented, like Bailey Ober. They've got, I think, more out of him than you thought as a prospect. They've got this Zebby Matthews kid who's a crazy strike thrower. Not the best stuff, but he's a very good the back of the rotation. Like they even lost Joe Ryan, but they've supplemented it with these kids. They got some.
They've
starts
got a lot
out
of
Paddock.
youth. They've got a lot of youth.
Yeah, I think they need Ryan back to really make a postseason push, like win a series. But still, they've got very good offense around it. They get Correa, Buxton back. Royce Lewis, when he can play, he is a stud. They've got talent. So I guess I could see either one of them passing the Guardians. Or the Guardians, their pitching is finally caught up to them, I think.
I think the Royals will probably win that division, as hot as they've been.
I could see
so
that.
then it'll probably be the Guardians with that.
Yeah.
No, I can't say first wild card because it's going to be one of the Yanks or the Orioles getting the first
Yeah,
wild card.
you're right.
So the Guardians will probably
The
get that
5-6
too.
spot. Yeah. J-Ram's awesome. Naylor, they've got some offense, but it's slowed down. And the one guy I want to give a shout out to is Class A. That guy, he might win a Cy Young as a closer, and
I hope he
doesn't
does.
happen.
I hope he does.
I think Eric Gagne, we need our stat guy on that one, was the last guy to win it. That was many years ago. So I just don't think they have the pitching, though, when they get in to do a whole lot of damage.
Yeah.
The West, I mean, we already hit the Astros. I hate to bring up your Mariners. That's pretty depressing.
Yeah, it's
but,
okay.
I think these divisions were inverse to what I thought. I really thought the West would have 3 teams, Central 1.
I thought early on it was going to be just one coming out of there per se. I thought you could potentially see. No, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
2.
think the Mariners and Astros.
Maybe I wasn't
pretty
thinking
consensus.
3 out of the Central, but I thought
No.
2.
It's
out
hard
of,
to project
yeah.
that. So we thought 2-2-2, but it is what it is. I'm going Houston. You're going Baltimore. You want to go National League now?
Yeah.
I don't have quite the, I guess you'd say, I don't know if you call Houston a dark horse, but I'm kind of rock chalk on this one. I think the Phillies. I actually think the Dodgers the best record right now, but the Phillies
Phillies are second.
I still think with their pitching, their lineup too, you got guys that've been there with Harper, Castellanos,
Playoff
Realmuto's
pedigree.
back. That's big to me. Like they made the World Series. What was that? 2 years ago?
They've got plenty of arms. Their bullpen they kind of revamped.
I love what they did. Estevez.
Phillies, they could do something.
Okay, you run out Wheeler, Noah, Suarez is back pitching somewhat where he was. Sanchez, therefore, you got 4 formidable starters. Wheeler and Noah studs, especially Wheeler. Pair it with the back of their pen now. Getting Estevez was big. Hoffman's been a stud. And then Alvarado is not a good closer, but is their 7th inning guy, your lefty guy?
That lefty.
When he's used right, that's very good.
Just trying to think of another reliever that would match up. That guy can win you a game and lose you a game so fast. Yeah. He has electric stuff, but man, if he can't find a strike zone, it's rough.
Sometimes he looks like a top 5 closer, and the next appearance he comes out looks like he should be in single A. That's what I've seen with that guy.
They've got the stuff. And the Dodgers, if the Dodgers can just get healthy,
well, that's where
that
I'm
is the
at.
team.
Okay, so you think if they get healthy,
they get coming into this, I knew we were gonna talk about this and figure out who I was gonna do picks. I was almost going to pick the Diamondbacks to win that division over them, till I went and looked at the schedule down the stretch.
Oh, I hadn't done that.
The schedule down the stretch is brutal for Arizona,
But hey, if
and it is cake for the Dodgers.
Okay.
The Dodgers, I think, get 2 series against Colorado, and I think a series against Miami down the stretch.
Big. That's big.
They get 9 or 10 cakewalk games down the stretch.
All right, well, hold on now. Let's hold our horses here. So in the East, the Braves is the only other team. They've got so many injuries. They might get in, but I don't see them doing much damage.
The Braves
rotation. We'll see.
I don't even think is. I really think for the National League, the way it is, it's the standings. That is literally probably how it's going to be going.
Like what it looks like right now.
Right now,
with your Padres.
The Mets, they've been surging, but the Braves just somehow are.
We'll hang around.
They're hanging around with all the talent. Yes, they just lost Austin Riley for weeks.
Yeah.
But
Harris had a scare. He's okay.
The guy that is probably hated in St. Louis now, but Marcel is in the Golden Bear, or whatever his nickname is. He is carrying that team.
The special bear.
He has carried the load of that offense.
I'll give you that. And Matt Olson, he had a heck of a game last
night. Matt Olson, timely hitting.
They've still got talent there.
They still have so much talent.
What I want to say that rotation, Chris Sales turned back the clock. He's
has.
Cy Young favorite.
I loved that trade for them.
I do
loved
too.
it.
That was a hell of a trade. It was a little bit of a gamble, given his health.
He's a guy that was getting $20 million, I think, this year. I would gladly gladly have paid him $20 million, even off of a down year coming out of Boston. I would have gladly paid him $20 million.
He needed to
Instead,
change
I got
scenery.
this Michaelis guy over here.
Yeah. What's money better spent there on sale? The upside. The strikeout upside. That's why we didn't do it. He strikes out too many batters. We weren't going there. Ronaldo Lopez too. Like he's came from out of nowhere. He's a reliever for a while.
He had good stuff. He had good stuff for Chicago, and he was in a crap situation there.
Yeah.
And then he goes to another crap team trying to push all their chips in to say, "Hey, we want to keep this Ohtani guy in town." But Ohtani already had his mind made up. You guys hadn't put a winner with me.
Yeah.
The
Why
whole
would
time
I
I was
stay?
here. Why would I stay?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to that place over there where the pastures are greener in Dodgerland.
I'm going to go across the street. See ya. My guy, I'm going to talk about there too, is Spencer Swellenbach. I love this kid. He is actually a converted shortstop and reliever in college. Did not start in college. He's only pitched as a starter for, I believe, 3 years. He throws 6 pitches. I love this kid.
6 pitches, and the Cardinals can't hit one of them.
And no,
Because they
that's
faced him
true.
twice this year.
I mean, I'll give him the pass now. He's pretty good, but that's kind of a common theme we've got going on.
Yeah.
He could be dangerous. The Central,
Depression.
yeah. Is it basically the Brew Crew and
The
bust?
Brew Crew is the only
They can
team
keep
coming out of
winning?
that division, and
That's,
as
yeah,
we've
I
talked,
agree.
somehow they always find ways to win. But when it comes to the postseason, that roster is not built to
Right.
do any damage.
I like their pen. They got Devin Williams back. They've got is it Taylor McGill? I believe he just came back. They got Nick Mears from Colorado. Like they've got some arms.
They've got some
but
arms, but they've
be
got to be
ahead.
they got to be ahead to get those guys used properly. So
You gotta score more runs. Than
the other
team, and
teams
could be a problem.
that's in the National League that they'd face up against.
Yeah, I agree.
I,
It hurt losing Yelly for the season. He had. I'm not. The power wasn't back.
Your first wild card team is either
Gonna knock him out.
It's either going to be
Yeah.
L.A., Arizona, or San Diego.
Yeah, and
depending on which of those teams it slows down a little bit because
I
they're all
agree.
like right by each other. They're gonna their offense. They can just smother the Brewers.
You like them over the Brewers. 'Cause
Any
I
team
agree.
out of the National League West is going
Yeah.
to smother the Brewers.
I'm gonna tell you what. You go West. I'm gonna make a bold prediction here that whichever team matches up against the Dodgers, because I think that's inevitable. That I think there's a strong possibility, I should say, that the Dodgers will play either San Diego or Arizona. I think they send LA packing. I really do. What both Arizona and San Diego have done, trade deadline, was build that freaking pen. And San Diego, too, on their end of things. I mean, they got Mike Schultz. You give me Mike Schultz managing anybody, I love it. They've got pitching.
It depends on where. If LA finishes with the 1, they would
I mean,
they would get a
once they
bye, and then
get
I don't remember
Atlanta,
I don't remember how it goes, but yeah,
well, we can't
It
really
depends.
hypothesize that.
But-
But the first round, you know,
those Dodgers, they're just.
there's just something I got
I hate
a
'em.
feeling.
I hate
they're-
'em.
I
No,
do too.
I don't-
Their rotation.
I don't
so beat
hate
up.
them.
What, do you think you have Tyler Glass now game 1 in the playoffs? It's a 50-50 shot, isn't it? Given the way he's breaking down. Yamamoto, what do
I
you have
wouldn't-
from him?
Any team whoever's their first starter, I'm probably still picking the Dodgers to win
I don't know.
because
their pin is more hittable than these
they've
other
got a
teams.
mythical unicorn on that team,
That's
and
fair.
man, you can ride that.
And you kind of have to pitch to it.
You got to
You
pitch
know,
to it
you
most
can't get
likely
around him.
because he hits generally in front of 2 superstars.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
Betts, Freeman.
Or I'll
Freeman's
even
still
change
banged
that.
up.
He hits in front of 2 Hall of Famers.
Yes, I'll give you
So-
those. Top 3 of their lineup are Hall of
You kind of
Famers.
got to pitch to him because if you walk
Yeah.
him, then you got to go after that guy,
Dude,
and
shout
then you got to
out
go after
him,
that guy.
too, being a possible 40-40 man. No, he's
He's already a
50-50.
He's already a 40-40 man.
Goodness, that's crazy.
He was at 39, I think 39 when he left St. Louis.
Didn't Acuna do that last year? And it was like, oh my gosh. He was like 40-80.
Acuna did it, and he had, I think, 2 games left in the season.
And Otani's done it.
Otani's
going to
get 50-50.
Dude, the year we're like, someone else getting MVP, he's going to share it because he can't
'Cause
pitch. No.
Otani
sir.
as I said, the cakewalk the opponents they get down the stretch. Otani's going to get unless they just start
Well-
giving him the Bonds treatment. We'll just walk you so you don't set any records
Yeah.
against us.
That's fair.
We already have a bunch of negative publicity. We don't need you hitting dingers off of us.
That's good. Yeah, but you could get
You
on
could spin
TV.
it.
You
Spin
get
it.
TV. And
Spin
get
it. We're on ESPN because we just gave up a homer to
Hell
Otani.
yeah, there's guys that go down in history. You give up that number 7. What was it? 760. How many Bonds hit? 765. Is that right? Anyway, 700 to Bonds. Like you got your name down in Cooperstown for that.
Yeah,
There's some credit to
762,
it.
but
Yeah, which one set the record? 756, right? I think Aaron was 755. Doesn't matter.
something.
But the Padres too. I mean, they got Cease is pitching pretty good. Darvish could be back. Musgrove back. I like their rotation. I really do. I like their pen. We just talked about Tanner Scott. They've got Suarez back there, who already is a stud.
They got Jason Adam.
Yeah, from Tampa. I mean, they're built, I think, and
They got,
managed it for the postseason.
Is it Adrian Morjon or something like that?
I believe
lefty?
so. Yeah,
That guy, another tough lefty.
that Matsui they already had. He's a lefty too, little guy. But
Yuki,
yeah,
he doesn't have stuff that I would.
no, he's like their 6th or 7th inning guy. Like,
I'm gonna bet he gets left off their postseason roster.
I don't know about that. I think there's another reliever that will. I think he'll be on there.
The reason I say that is because Morjon and you have Tanner Scott.
Okay.
He tops out at like 92.
Still, if he gets left off the roster, that says you have a pretty damn good pen.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
With the relievers they got now. I don't think he gets used in like the 5th and
Yeah,
sixth,
but
more so the 5th inning when they get.
that's valuable in the postseason. That is.
Not really in the postseason.
Oh, yeah. If you want to make it a 5-inning game and you can bring him out in the 5th, 6th inning somewhere in that ballpark.
I don't know what his numbers are off the top of my head, but I don't think his splits are the best.
Okay. But still, like I said, we're talking about the 4th or 5th arm in their pen.
If you can give him the Mark Rybczynski
the Scrabble
workload where he gets to face
Yeah.
one guy,
well,
then okay, he'll have a good role for you. But you
Yeah.
can't if you're getting ready to face 2 lefties and 1 righty. I'm worried that 1 righty's going to do some damage against
Yeah.
him.
I don't know. They still I love their pen, and I mean Arizona the same way. They added Puck, they added Floro. Justin Martinez has been amazing. If they get Paul Sewald back, I just named off 4 guys that can shut the game down quick for them.
Yeah.
If the Dodgers are healthy, they've got a better rotation. But look at what happened last year. Didn't they sweep the Dodgers out of the playoffs? I believe. Maybe I'm going with the Dodgers choking mojo too much, but I just have a gut feeling that
Dodgers choking mojo. They didn't have Ohtani.
they didn't have Ohtani. That's
So we
fair.
got to start with a clean slate. They got Ohtani now.
Talk to me next year when he's pitching.
So
too.
he's already thrown off the mound.
Dude, that'd be a hell of a
He's-
comeback.
if-
Postseason, it's like, I can pitch now.
You joke about it, but I could see it where Ohtani's like,
I don't
if it comes down
know.
to Game 7 and I'm eligible to pitch, give me that.
Yeah, now that is a
I'm
possibility.
gonna-
I also might be like, listen here, we're paying you $590
Maybe it's a
million
pipe
of deferred
dream.
money.
Maybe it's a
I
pipe
don't
dream.
think so.
Maybe it's a pipe dream, but
we have 9 more years of you. We need you
Yeah,
to pitch.
maybe it's
So
a pipe
I
dream.
doubt that.
it's most of us deferred money. It's not like they're going to be
it'd all right,
hurting.
it'd be all right. We'll bring someone else in by then.
We're paying him
So-
like $1.5 million a year?
Yeah.
And then the rest is deferred?
Exactly. Well, that's how they loaded this team. By
Maybe it's
doing that.
2.5.
So,
Either way.
And, I mean, they got their pin, too, getting Kopech, I thought was huge. He's been pretty dang good. He's had an injury issue this last week, but still, it's like he gets out of Chicago, goes to L.A., and, oh, my gosh, they know a little more in Chicago. He's been amazing since going to L.A. That could be their closer. That changes my
I don't
opinion a
know.
little.
I don't know if it's the mindset or you want to call it, but it's just like a change of scenery.
Yeah.
He
Well, and
was
also-
a prime candidate like Dylan Carlson was. You give him a new change of scenery, and just one person can get in your ear, and it can boost your confidence to the sky.
I was going to say, I'm going to go on the limb that they have a little better coaching staff than Chicago. Just a thought.
Kopech had all the stuff in the world to succeed.
Yeah.
He was just in a poorly ran organization.
Absolutely. So, but I guess, my takeaway on this, I'm going Philly, and I'm going one of them other West teams upset LA, and I could honestly see a repeat of last year. I could see Philly and Arizona. I'm not sure that I want to say that right now as my prediction.
Philly and Arizona.
But watch that.
I don't.
Arizona's getting hot at the right time of year.
They are.
They're
That's
getting
what
healthy.
The NL West is what's making it so hard to pick.
I know.
Because
It's
the
crapshoot.
Diamondbacks, they're a likable team. The Dodgers,
I'd love
they
me
just have the
that
star
dark
power.
horse.
And
And the
I don't know. I
Padres.
think it's any time that I've seen certain. I guess I've had fanfare for the Padres for a few years because I would put money on them potentially winning the National
Well,
League pennant.
I really put a lot of stock in these teams with awesome pins and where they're at, and they're getting Tatis back. They've got a pretty good offense, top to bottom. I like
The Padres.
They don't have the big
Everybody
names.
weren't the biggest fans of it, but If they didn't trade Juan Soto and get Michael King, where would they be at?
Well, if they didn't make that Juan Soto trade, then they don't get Dylan Cease because some prospects from
That's
that
what I'm
trade.
saying.
So they basically got King.
They lost most of their pitching staff, but
Yeah.
then they brought in Cease and King
Yeah.
and I can't think of the other arm. I think they got from the
Randy Vasquez.
Yeah,
I think the lefty.
He's
been a swing man. He's been
but
solid.
King is him and Cease have been the anchors of that rotation.
Yes, they have. They got a lot more out of Cease than we're in Chicago, and I mean
haven't
they're
checked,
getting hot
I haven't
too.
checked the score of the Cardinals game, but they were winning 2-0 on Cease early, but they're probably losing.
That was a lot of fives. Oh, 5-5. Okay, update 5-5.
5-5.
So I guess that's where I'm at. What's your official prediction then in the West, my man? Or in I'm sorry, in
Or
the
just
National League.
just in the National League,
Yeah.
like the top to bottom.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably it'll be LA or Phillies getting that 1 and 2 seed.
I mean, just who you got coming out at the
Just
pennant?
coming out of the pennant.
Yeah, we'll keep it simple. So I got Houston and I got Philly, which feels like a rematch.
My head says the Dodgers, but my heart says San Diego.
I love it. I love it. San Diego and Baltimore?
I
love
think
it.
it's also because of the Mike Schilt love,
I'll tell you what, I would rather yours
And-
be right than mine.
and then San Diego just they give your team hope. They
Yeah.
go through some rough patches, but they give your
have.
team hope.
Dude.
They like
You had me at Mike Schilt.
it's like what are these prospects here? What are they gonna do for me this year?
Yeah.
Get me 3-4 guys that are gonna help me win.
I think this is less Snead.
So-
What was it? The fuck them picks. Give
And
me the
then-
guys that win right now. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I like it.
So you've got Houston,
Yeah,
Philly,
and Philly. Houston,
and I've
Philly.
got,
I got real
Baltimore and San Diego.
I like your picks better. I like that. And honestly, that's a cool thing this year. I could see it going either way. So there's not really like a slam dunk choice in my mind in both leagues. But that's where we're at with that. So I think at that, we're going to wrap on our baseball talk.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. You got more?
Well, I just didn't know
Ooh.
if we wanted to do any of the players impressed or any of the disappointments.
I
Because I
think,
think we could rapid fire that stuff.
yeah, if you would like to, we could do that real quick. Just a few guys, I mean, to impress. Well, yeah, Shohei Ohtani is a cyborg.
He's
That's
a cyborg.
Pretty basic.
Mine, I wasn't going to go with that. My players impressed with. I had Jackson Merrill of the Padres.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He
That's a
could
good one.
potentially win the Rookie of the Year if they don't just give it to Paul Skeens.
If you look at the body of work, he's a
Jackson
very
Merrill
good
is being
receiver.
able to play the whole year should
Yeah.
give him more of a.
Yeah, it
Shake
should,
in that.
but a lot of times it's popularity contest.
And then my other, I went with a kind of a group, the KC Youth.
I had Bobby Witt Jr.
Bobby
down.
Witt Jr.,
I had him down.
Pasquino, and then Cole Raggins.
Bobby Witt has done what I was really hoping Julio would do. That's going to be my disappointment.
No, that's my
But-
impressed with.
Tariq Skubal, I'd like to point him out. He stayed healthy.
I wanted to throw him on there, but I was like, I wanted to try to keep it like where I had one National League, one
I like
American League
that,
type thing.
yeah.
So but I wanted to group because I wanted to give Kansas City some love because they have so many youth that are anchoring that
yeah.
team.
No, I love that. I love what Witt's done, stepped it up. I got a really good one for you. It's not even a Major League Baseball player. It's Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s hairstylist. Whoever cut his hair, and if he did it, then kudos to you, Vladdy. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but you guys ought to look at his numbers before haircut and after when the dreads were gone.
I wondered. I never.
He's went bonkers.
I didn't know what you meant by that, but okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
stat
I'm gonna
you
tell
got
you
there.
what. Yeah, guys, go look it up. He has been 2021 Vlad since then. OPS 1,000 more. Like he's done something.
Another
and-
guy I was hoping to get moved at the deadline.
Yeah, that'd have been cool.
I wanted to see him in the postseason.
Yep, I
Flair.
would have liked that too. And Aaron Judge, we got the obvious ones. He's gonna hit 60 homers again. Woohoo, good job.
What disappointments you got?
It begins and ends with J-Rod. I literally picked him to win MVP, and Seattle. I believe you can ruin everything when you ruin my boy. I don't know what to say.
He got a little hurt. I can't.
Well, he
I
sucked
can't
before he got hurt.
I can't just rip Seattle.
He's been terrible. We're on to Seattle. We're on to Seattle. Oh, I got one more. Bobby Miller too. That was another one of my dark horse Cy Young picks, and yeah, he had a good first start to the year, and then he basically forgot how to pitch. He got hurt, but
If I was
it's been
Cardinals,
terrible.
his disappointment, I'd take that though. Cardinals, go get him. Go get Bobby Miller.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Youth.
Dodgers are too smart
My
for that.
disappointments, I've got like three groupings here.
Okay.
I had 3 teams: the Tigers, Toronto, and Texas. Texas, you're defending champs, and
Hold on,
fought-
go back. Tigers, Toronto, and Texas. I had all 3 in the playoffs in my early season prediction. Oh gosh.
The Tigers, the reason I have them as a disappointment not on their win-loss record is because they didn't capitalize on getting rid of Skubal.
I
I
agree.
think when
with
their
both,
window
actually.
comes to when their window's closing, they're not going to be able. By the time that these other guys are progressed, Skubal's going to be out of their price range.
Yeah.
Toronto, all that, like you just said, Vladdy's numbers, and they have so much talent on that team. Didn't make the playoffs. Texas, defending champs, they probably should have, and then they
Sold.
didn't sell enough where they were at. Then this three grouping is back to the Cardinals. Disappointment. You got Goldie, Nato, and
I
Gray.
had that one too.
That's your big money makers, and
We
and
are
then-
where we are because of that.
yep. And
Honestly.
then this name is going to hurt you.
Let's hear it. I'm all for getting stabbed in the gut.
You're gonna shed a tear over there. Disappointment's Mike Trout.
It's Mike Trout's training staff.
Mike Trout
for getting him
is-
on the field. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Whoop.
Mike Trout is one of the bigger disappointments because he stayed, I don't know, true, whatever you want to call it, to an organization that didn't deserve him.
Yeah.
And then he's been
Absolutely.
hurt for majority of his career down the
Absolutely.
stretch.
And he started you off so hot.
When
so
you
promising.
has he only been has he been in the playoffs just once or not?
Yeah, one time. I
One
think
time.
he's had one series.
So
one
it's a
postseason
disappointment.
series.
I don't know how many more playoff series he's going to get because that organization is a dumpster fire.
I agree. I had
So
one
that's-
last one. It's the Craig Counsell mojo with the Cubs. You know, you throw Counsell in there. They about made the playoffs last year. What happened?
Yeah.
You know, bullpen.
He's got their pitching staff great.
Yeah.
It's just their bullpen. I guess it's who is it? Is it Mike Schilt there down the stretch when any reliever he touched would just give up a dinger?
Yeah. That's kind of where we're at there. So I don't know.
So anybody he platoon or throw out there, they just get crushed. So
Council's
But
mojo
yeah.
and Mike Trout's knee. It's
That's
quite
what
a
I had.
combination there. But I like it. We covered a lot of baseball tonight. Appreciate you coming on. We definitely gave the Cardinals what they deserve, and touched on a little bit of postseason stuff. So you guys like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you. Hope to have you back.
It was
Sound
fun.
good?
It was fun. Trash on the Cardinals a little bit, but not too
That's
hard.
always fun. Oh yeah. You know, you get what you sow what you reap. There you go.
Like I said, don't hate the Cardinals,
Reap what you
but we didn't set the standards. They did.
That's right. That's a good one. So, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for being along for the ride, and we will catch you on the other side. Good night.